Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to your Wednesday night motorsport for what is the first race of two tonight here at the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. We're here in the Radicals at Snetterton Circuit, Norfolk, England, as you can see on your screen. My name is Aidan Schultz. Joining me in the booth tonight is none other than Daniel Saar, also behind the camera. Good evening to you, Daniel. How are you, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Very keen to get started with tonight's racing.
Yeah, can't wait for it, mate. We're currently 7 minutes 50 into qualifying, as you can see in the top left-hand side of your screen. And we'll let you know as we bring up the tower on the left-hand side of the screen on how they're travelling in qualifying. Only 2 minutes to go. So you can see there at the top, Guy Leach currently in first position with a 103.225. Stuart Ellis 103.519 and Paul Wood 103.534, rounding out your three. But mate, we've got a couple of races here tonight in the Radicals here for round number one on the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. Of course, before we go across into the race session, we've got to make a big shout out to those sponsors of the GSRC, and of course they're none other than Orbic. They do sponsor the GT4 series, which you'll see here live on the GSRC streams coming up after the Radicals tonight. Waste options, flash graphics, login systems, Player One Sim Gear, M-Wave and Lobesy Racing. So big thank you to those guys. So about a minute left now into qualifying. We'll run through your top 10. You can see all the sponsors coming across the bottom there, but we'll run into your top 10 as we're about a minute away from setting your grid here for what is round number one of the Radical series from Snetterton Circuit. So it is the 200 layout tonight configuration. As you can see, we're in the UK, and as I've just mentioned, the city is Snetterton. Track length is 3.16 kilometres in length, 19 degrees temperature tonight with an altitude of 43 metres. Of course, myself in the commentary booth along with Daniel Korea Saar. So top 10 in the qualifying session so far as we're about to go into race number one. It is Guy Leach. Looks like he's going to get the pole position here with a 103.225. Stuart Ellis with a 103.519. Paul Wood still holding on the third with a 103.534. And Glenn Riddell with a 103.599. Gary Cousins rounding out your 103.783. So stacked field here tonight for round number one as we go through your grid. As I just mentioned, Guy Leach will be off pole with Stuart Ellis out of P number 2. 3 and 4 will be Paul Wood and Glenn Riddell. 5th will be Gary Cousins and Adam Maverick out of 6. David Christensen and Richard Mayer out of 7 and 8. Nick Bodiatis and Brett Baker will round out your 10 for race number one as we go across the page. Scotty Rankin in 11th, Sam Chapman 12th, McIntyre and Skuhart. Sorry, I can't pronounce that. My apologies. 13th and 14th, Henderson, Brooks, Matson, Baldwin, Gill and Schmidtke rounding out your 20. We'll go across the pages as a stacked field. Joe Baldwin, Kurt Chapman out of 21 and 22. Baker, Rees, Ibbett, Tice, Howe and King makes out your 28. Adam Johnson in 29th and Marty Mitchell will come out of the 30th starting position tonight. In the 31st position will be Brendan Nealon and Braden Sagasar. He was quick in practice. Don't know why he's down in 32nd. He's got a long way to come back, but he'll start the 1-9 MX Raps Racing out of 32nd. We're about to go green here, Daniel. I'm excited for this one. Stacked field, tricky track, short track, and very quick cars. Very excited for this one. But ladies and gentlemen, we're about to go green here on the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club platforms for round number one of the Radicals here at Snetterton. Here we go. The lights are up. You're going to see it come up. We're ready to go. Who's going to get the jump? Will it be Leach, Ellis, Wood or Riddell from the second row? And looks like Leach has got a great jump off the first row, but have a look at the back. There's a lot of action at the back there, Daniel, as they make their way down into turn number one for the first time tonight. So, big incident from the second or third row there, Daniel. So some cars there with a bit of incidents early. What do you make of that? Here, I am putting the commentator's curse on. They make their way through the first change of direction down the back straight for the first time tonight. they'll come into the tricky braking section where they're turning left and then going into a sharp right-hand corner. So I did a couple of laps earlier tonight, just ghosting this one, Daniel, and mate, she's a bit tricky. So we'll see whether they navigate their way down here. They're all gentlemen-like at the moment, as it looks like there was a little bit of a touch, but they make their way through. We just look at the back of the pack. It looks pretty good so far as they keep going. Looks like Guy Leach, he's had a little bit of an issue. So after starting right at the front of this field, Guy Leach is dropping down the field, currently in the 8th position. Oh, with nearly a bit of contact there, but Daniel nearly at there, or going through. That's how quick a lap of Snetterton here is in the Radical. Lap 1 in the books for round number 1.
Yeah, it was a pretty chaotic one. I have to go back through the events page just to see what exactly happened. There were a couple of people that came together, and then a couple of off tracks. Guy Leach, of course, dropping down as we see another one just at the back there. I think it's David Christensen who's spun round. I think he's going touched as well. Oof, just missing him by millimeters. There's another one spun just on the back as well. The Radicals. See, here's the thing about the Radicals too. These are a downforce car, but they're very easy to spin because they bait you into corners. Sometimes you think you've got the grip, and then it turns out you're not going fast enough, and you end up spinning. So it's going to be a challenge for these guys. 15 minutes on the clock, and we're only in lap 2, and already there's at least 6 or 7 cars that I can count that have gone off or spun.
Yeah, 100%. My live timing is going absolutely haywire at the moment with people going up and down the grid. So David Christensen, we're on board with there in the 26th position, rather, from Aussie Races. So a lot of incidents there in the first lap, but I'm sure, another car off on the outside. So we knew coming into round number 1, everyone's probably a little bit antsy, wanting to get a good result, and we're seeing that first of almost a couple of cars going into pit lane there, as David Christensen is one of those, so not the way he would have wanted his night to start, but we'll go to the lead of the motor race. We're 2 minutes 42 into what is a quick 15-minute race here for the first race of round number 1, and it is Richard Maher. He has come from the 8th position on the grid up into first. So Richard, the biggest mover in the top few here in the first couple of minutes of this one. He's followed closely. You can see Glenn Riddell in second position. Stuart Ellis, Scott Rankin up 7 positions after starting 9th. Up 7 positions after starting, can I do my maths? 11th, up into the 4th position. So good start by Scott Rankin there. Guy Leach down 4 into 5th. But the battle for first at the moment, we'll have a look at their last lap times. So 104.413 last time round for Richard Maher. And then Glenn Riddell, 0.3 quicker with a 104.148. So Glenn Riddell showing a little pace early on here, 3 minutes 40 into 15. Don't take your eyes off Stuart Ellis either, 104.2. Outside of that, they've got a 2.7 second gap on the rest of the field. So they're the best of the starters at the front of this one, Daniel. So it seems to settle down a little bit. Looks like Adam Tice is dropping through the timing sheet as well. So it looks like Ticey's had a bit of an issue, as we might go back and have a look at what happened there if we can, if I'm not putting you under too much trouble. But
No,
Adam Tice having a little bit of an issue there. So we're having a look now on the 37. He's on the outside there. It looks like he's going to get a little bit of loose through the apex, and he's being collected. So the driver behind, nowhere to go there. Unfortunate for Ticey. He had a good run last night in the up-and-comers, and he was looking for a good run tonight. Not the way he wanted to start race number 1, but we do have another race for you tonight. He gets a second one for his... that's unfortunate for Ticey. But Daniel, we're already nearly 5 minutes into the first race. It hasn't disappointed so far. Scott Rankin's now dropped back into 5th. Back with your leader, Richard Maher. He's sort of just extended the lead a little bit. He's about half a second in front of Riddell, Ellis in 3rd. So 1, 2 and 3 as we go back to Scotty Rankin. He was 4th early on in this race. He's now been passed by Aiden Schwerkert. I believe that's how you pronounce it, Aiden. If I have pronounced that wrong, I do apologise. But Scotty Rankin there, he's dropped back into the 6th position. He's followed by Paul Wood. You'll see him behind him, just coming through there. So Paul Wood, he's the one down 4 position. Scott Rankin going really wide there on the exit of the turn. I'll run you through a little bit of information here, Daniel and the viewers. A little bit of information on Snetterton as the battle heats up for second and third here. It is actually a post-war generation of an ex-airfield. So it's actually built on an ex-airfield. So I don't know if you knew that, Daniel. So there you go. There's a little bit of useless information here on the GSR streams on a Wednesday night, mate.
Yep. Yeah, no, I did know that. And the only reason I did know that is because it shares that with Silverstone as well. A lot of the old airfields used in the pre-wars were converted as Stephen Brooks decides to go for a flight off onto the grass. Now, luckily for him, due to that new iRacing update, he lived. If he had done that previous to that, that would have been like going in an ice rink and he would have gone shot right into the fence. Also, for everyone who is watching, I do apologize. I believe that we're having some audio issues with the game sound. I'm trying to figure out what that is, but for now, you're just going to have to deal with the dull tones of myself and Aiden here.
Oh, no, we can't have that. Bloody hell. I apologise for having to listen to our voices for the next couple of minutes until we get that sorted. You can see Daniel feverishly working to sort that out for you as Brooksy's had a few moments early. He's down 5 spots, so on board with Stephen Brooks now in the 21st position. So down 5 spots. He's chasing down Brendan Nealon, and Brendan, who's just looks like he's about to lose a spot at the moment. He's up 11 spots as Brendan's down the inside, so he's not going to give this one up too easily. Down into turn number 1, 7 minutes into 15. Oh, don't carry that curve too much there. Brooksy is going to fire off into the grass, but he saves it. Down into the tight hairpin here, and he's going to try to get the run. Oh, as Brendan gets wide, and it looks like Brooksy's going to get the job done there on exit, and he does so as they make their way down the back straight once again tonight. Lap 7 minutes 34. Leaders is taking lap 8. That's how quick it is around here, Snetterton. Daniel, very quick lap, especially here in the Radicals.
Yeah, definitely. I think I've got the audio fixed, hopefully. If anybody watching can let me know. So, as you said, 8 minutes in, lap 8. So, what is everybody? They're going around in a 103. I think the fastest lap we've seen so far is a 10. I believe it's the 103.1 from Stuart Ellis. I could be wrong.
That.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Looks like you're right. When he gets a good lap on, he's quicker than your leader, Richard, at the moment. Back on board with Brooksy. He's been through everything tonight. He's just made a good move. So we'll go back to the leaders, though, give them a bit of love, unless we can see some battles elsewhere. We've got about 9/10 of a second to the leader. So there's your leader on screen now. So these first 3 have continued to just get away from Guy Leach, currently holding in the 4th position. So Richard Mayer starting out of 8th position, as I've mentioned, only 6 minutes to go. So he'll be looking to really consolidate this one as we go into race number 2. Now, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Daniel, the top 10 are reversed from race number 2. Oh, as there was a car off in front of them there.
Yes, the second race will be a reverse grid of the top 10. And that'll go for 25 minutes rather than the 15 of the first race.
Yeah, excellent. Well, Richard doing a great job at the moment. He's just extended his legs a little bit as we go back to the replay of what happened with Matt Schmidtke there in the 571 racing entry. So into the tight hairpin, just caught the rear brakes and rotated it. So Matt's gone around and he's going to want to try and rejoin correctly and keep going. So Matt currently, if I look at my live timing, he's actually now dropped right back to the 33rd position, a lap down. So Mitch McIntyre with an issue there too. So I can't keep up with it, mate. It's happening quicker than I can talk.
Yeah, it's might have been a little bit of the commentator's curse on him there. I switched to the yin car and he manages to slide round. So that's my apologies there, Mitch. As it looks like Tony Baker and David Christensen side by side as they move into. And it looks like Tony gets caught out as well. Yep.
The old rear locking there, mate. It's definitely happening. I knew that would be a really high incident area there through the corner. Excuse me as I cough into the mic. My apologies, viewers, but I knew that would be a really, really tricky section of the track. That's actually through Brundle and Nelson as they're going through now, which are the names of the turns. I knew that'd be tricky. Change of direction under braking, so you're transitioning the weight of the car under braking and then going the other way, let alone trying to make a move. So very, very tricky, but no surprise to see a couple of incidents through there. But on board now, Scotty Rankin up into the 6th position, I believe, if I have a look at my live timing. Yes, he's up into the 6th position, and that's Aiden Schwerkolt in front of him. So Scotty Rankin, is he going to want to make a move? As we said, it's reverse grid in the second race. So currently he'll be starting out a 4th position for the second race tonight, and we'll see whether he wants to make a move on Aiden late into this one. So we're now 3 minutes 48 seconds until the end. So we've got about 3 laps left, ladies and gentlemen. Big thank you to everyone joining here on the GSRC streams, watching the Radicals here for round number 1 at Snetterton as John Baldwin, David Christensen, as he changed the camera, is now making a move on Adam Maverick, I believe that might be.
No, that'll be, he's just passed Brendan Nealon.
Yeah, right, Brendan Nealon. Sorry, my live timing is going crazy, as you can imagine. So many cars on track with a short track. It is going crazy very, very quickly. So back to Marty Mitchell in the 26th position now. So he's up 4 positions, started out of the 30th. So he's had a pretty good start. He's had a few incidents, but he's going all right up into the 26th position. And he's got Nick Bodiatis in front of him as well. So here we go. Thank you, Bobby, for the comments there, mate. Bob Colbreath, great job, boys. Great commentary. So thank you. Daniel, you must be doing all the hard lifting here, mate. That's got to be about you, doesn't it?
No, I just push buttons. That's all I do. It's the voice that carries the broadcast, mate.
Mate, you're here too. You're going to need to help me. We've got GT4s next, so at Indianapolis Road. So, ladies and gentlemen, do not tune out of your streams here for GSRC. If you think this is good, the Radicals around Snetterton, not only do we have the second race coming up tonight, which will be 25 minutes, we're also going to the GT4s at Indianapolis Road. So don't tune out if you're liking this. Stay on board because we've got a long night ahead of you. Can't wait to bring all the action, but we're now 12 minutes 51 into 15 minutes. So only a couple of laps to go as Richard Muir is trying to make a move for the lead of the motor race. 0.3 of a second, if you don't mind asking. Stuart Ellis, last time around, 103.685 beats, compares to a 103.640. And look, in third, Glenn Riddell's caught up 103.6. So 103.6 for the leaders here for the last lap around. So we have got a battle here. Who wants to start 10th, 9th and 8th here for the second race tonight? Will it be Ellis, Mayer or Riddell? We're about to find out. Will Mayer want to... Is that Mar or Mayer? Am I saying that correctly, Daniel?
I'm not sure. I'm going to go with Mayer, but I'm not sure. Maybe he can correct us after the fact. So we got, I think they might get one more lap in.
Yeah, I think we've got one more lap. So lead for the motor race on your screens at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. Ellis, Mayer and Riddell. Mayer's been quickest the last couple of laps around, although he just dropped back last time around 1/10 of a second slower than Riddell. A little bit of aero wash there too, Daniel, I think. As soon as you get closer to the car in front, these do have really big rear wings. So could be a little bit harder to follow the car in front, but we'll see whether Mayer wants to make the move on Ellis as, there we go, he's gone wide. So he's definitely trying hard here to try and get this win here for round number 1, race number 1 of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club Radical Series here from Snetterton as they make their way through the final 2 turns onto the main straight, and they'll take the white flag for the final time here for race number 1. They'll make their way down into Rich's turn number 1. Have a look out for Riddell in the background. He's having a sneaky look, if you don't mind, down into turn number 1. He's just backed off a little bit. It looks like got the checkered flag.
Yeah,
so here I was getting all excited.
Yeah, no, it looks like they crossed as the timer. So that was the checkered flag.
Well, we missed the white flag there, but back to Adam Maverick in the 17th position. So he started out of 6th. He's down 11 spots. Not the best race number 1 for Adam. Will he get the job done on Phil King in front of him? A bit too late, I'd suggest, here as they make their way onto the main straight. And Phil King and Adam Maverick will finish your 16th and 17th positions here.
Oh, he's got some legs! Oh,
no! No! Spoke too soon.
0.003 the difference there.
Oh, what a race there for round number 1, race number 1. We're still going. Brendan Nealon, he's going to come across the line in the 25th position. He's chasing down Kurt Chapman. So that's Kurt Chapman and Brendan Nealon in the 24th and 25th positions coming across the line. We're going to go into a 3-minute warm-up, but I'm sure we can bring up your place getters or your standings for what was race number 1, round number 1 of the Radical Series here at Snetterton.
Oh, they haven't finished. They haven't finished loading yet, so I can't. Oh no, there they go.
Well, there we go. We got it. So here's your place getters and your standings for race number 1, round number 1 of the series here at Snetterton. So Stuart Ellis, Mayer and Riddell will round out your 3. Leach, Swerkert, Wood, Rankin, Cousins and Joe Baldwin and Peter Matson, if you don't mind, the treasurer of the club, coming home in the top 10. Henderson, Sagasa, Gill, Barker, Jackson, King, Maverick, Chapman, Christensen and Ibbett rounding out your 20. As we'll go across the page and let you know where all your favourite drivers did lie here for round number 1. We'll see if that will load into the 21st position was John Baldwin, Sean Rees, Fodiatis, Chapman, Nealon, Mitchell, McIntyre, Adam Tice, Johnson, Howe, Schmidtke, Baker and Brooks will be your 33 as we are just in the warm-up session waiting for race number 2. So we'll go a bit quiet for just about 30 or 40 seconds just while we get ready for race number 2 and give ourselves a bit of a break here on the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club streams. All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. If race number 1 wasn't good enough, we're going into race number 2, reverse top 10. Pete Matson off first place. Joel Baldwin will be the outside of the front row. Cousins, Rankin, Wood and Swerkart will make out the 6. Guy Leach, Riddell, Mayer and Ellis will round out your 10. We'll go through this grid very quickly as we're about to go into the race, so we do apologise as we go across the page. 11th will be Henderson, 12th Sagas, 13th Gill, Barker in 14th, Jackson 15th and Phil King out of the 16th position. 17th and 18th tonight for race number 2 will be Maverick and Chapman, with David Christensen and Warren Ibbett out of 19th and 20th. 33 odd cars on the grid tonight. John Baldwin, Sean Rees, 21st, 22nd. Nick Fodiatis and Kurt Chapman, 23rd, 24th, as they're about to go green. We will cut that short. 5 red lights, and we are green flag racing. As looks like Pete Matson went nowhere. Big crash in the background. We are going to go safety car on suggest.
I don't know if there will be a safety car called in this one, but that is an absolute monster of a crash. You can see some people already resetting the pits, crabbing there from one of the cars.
Matto Matson looked like he's gone backwards. We had a few cars in orbit. That was actually crazy. I don't even know what to say about that. I was not expecting that after race number 1, but Joe Baldwin in first position. So off the front row, he's made the best of the start. Scotty Rankin's eyes would be lighting up now, though, in this 25-minute race. His eyes will be lighting up. Stuart Ellis now we go on board. He's back in 8th, so started 10th. He's up 2 positions. So Stuart Ellis, but oh my God, Daniel, that was crazy.
Yeah, it was. We'll just keep on board with the grid for now as we get a couple of laps in, and then I'll try and go back and see exactly what happened. What I did notice is off the start, Matto had a bit of a bad start and then ended up getting run into, I'm not too sure who it was that hit him, because I know that Joe's obviously made his way to the front of the grid, to the front of the pack now. He is currently leading. But yeah, Matto with a poor start there, and then somewhere in the back of the grid, I think it might have been a similar story, and then everyone just piled on top of each other. One of the cars got launched right up into the air, flipped. There we go as Kevin Henderson gets hit out.
Yeah, mate, you're right. Sorry to cut you off there.
No,
Kevin Henderson around just outside of the top 10, so he's going to have to wait for the marauding hordes to go past as he re-enters back on the track nice and safely. But yeah, you're exactly right. Not only did Matto have a little bit of a bad start, there's a bit of damage on the car in front there as we are on board with Scotty Rankin. Guy Leach, he is all over the back. Have a look who's coming up after starting in 9th, 2nd place in race number 1, Richard Mayer. He's got his head around these radicals, and don't be surprised. Well, let's be honest here, Daniel. He's going to make his way forward, as is this man, your winner of race number 1. He coming in 3rd place in race number 1, Guy Leach. So these guys are going to want to make their way forward. They do have 25 minutes to do so. And being 40% fuel drop, I would strongly suggest we're going to see a pit stop in this race, mate.
Yep, definitely. Those are usually what the second heats are designed for. So the first one is obviously a sprint to the end, and then the second one tries to develop. Oh, as they come together, that's Baldwin and Rankin. So Rankin, unfortunately, taking the short straw there. He joins back in a safe manner, but away from that front pack. So he's going to lose the draft that comes with that. As we can see, Baldwin and Mayer at the back fighting. That's allowed Guy Leach to get a bit of a lead. Still within the 1 second mark, but either way.
I don't know if we can do that, Daniel, if we can go back to a replay of that move, but you could see if we go back to the replay of the move, just for the viewers out there, Scotty Rankin, he didn't have the ultimate line, obviously on the inside for the first part of the corner, but you'll see him get a little bit of loose under braking. Loose right there, which pulls him in, and he knew not to turn down. So I think that was err on the side of caution there for Scotty Rankin, and a great job by him. And he's only lost a couple of positions and is back on track. So that's how quickly it is. But it looks like he's got back in that draft now. So you can see him right in the back there, as that's the leader of the motor race there, Guy Leach. Scotty Rankin still sitting in 4th. I thought he might have lost more than that. Braden Sagasa, though, now we're on board with. He's up 2 positions. So Braden, Daniel, early on in the practice session that we were watching, he was right up at the top of the timesheets, inside the top 6 or 7. Didn't qualify for race number 1, come from the back, made his way just outside of the top 10 to 12, and he started 12th, and now he's finally inside the top 10 for race number 2 here tonight. So don't be surprised to see the 19 MX Raps Racing number 016 of Braden Sagasa just slowly make his way forward here as this race progresses.
Yeah, there's actually quite a lot of battling happening here. 5 laps in, almost at the 5-minute mark. As we see Kurt Chapman at the... Oh, there's a lock up there from... Is that Ellis? I think... No, Ellis has made his way past. That's Brett Barker and Sagasa now in a bit of a fight if we jump into the in-car cam there for Sagasa. Also, I have to... Big shout-out for the Baked Beans livery. It makes me feel weird, but it's a classic. No worries.
We'll have to nickname him Heinz for the next 20 minutes. Heinz, baked beans and spaghetti. But that's my warped sense of humour coming out there, ladies and gentlemen, so please forgive me. But Braden Sagas are doing a great job. Up in ninth, that is Ellis in front of him. Paul Wood a further 1.2 seconds down the road as well. We'll go through the biggest movers and shakers here as we settle down. We're 5.5 minutes into 25, so a long time to go. We'll just settle down a little bit and we'll go through your biggest movers and shakers. So I'll just take you through here, Daniel, and let the viewers know what they are. So Nick Odiitis back in 12th position. We'll go on board with him at the moment and give you a look. So he's up 11 positions, if you don't mind. So starting out at 23rd, Nick there in the 99 as he makes his way down through the hairpin for lap number 5, up 11 positions. Just 2 positions behind him is Matt Schmidtke. He's up 17 positions in the 14th position. So starting out of the 29th, if I did my maths correct, no, it's 30 something. I don't know, 1 + 1 = window here on the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club. He's up 17 positions. Just in behind him, you'll see Stephen Brooks there, who was having a good first race until he wasn't, and then he's fighting his way back. So he's up 18 spots as well. Adam Johnson's now falling back, who I saw had made up 11 or 12 positions as well. So he's now down a little bit, but still up 9. But they're your big movers and shakers here early on, Daniel. Lap 7, nearly 7 minutes into 25. So a little bit calmer here. We did have a big start and a big incident at the start, but they seem to calm down a little bit and just getting themselves into the 25-minute race.
Yeah, definitely. So Guy Leach still well and truly in the lead of this race. He's actually got quite a decent gap, 2 seconds to Joe Baldwin in P2. And then we've got Richard Mayer there in P3, Scott Rankin in P4, and Glenn Riddell in P5. And that is the fight for P2, as it were. Those are the closest cars on track. We've also got Sagasa in P9 and Brett Barker in P10 trying to chase down Paul Wood in P8. And there's a bit of a close one happening with Kurt Chapman in P18 chasing down Warren Ibbott in 17.
And that's the biggest lead that we've seen of the night tonight, Daniel, as well. 3.5 seconds now it is. Guy Leach over Joe Baldwin. Joe's still doing a great job. Started out a second, finished 9th in the first one. He did actually jump in and have a chat with us before he went into that race and said that was really great, one of the best races he's had, and he's showing why now. Still holding down second, but the battle for second, third, fourth and fifth is definitely heating up as Riddell's sitting behind there watching at the moment as they go too wide down through that turn now. So it's definitely heating up. Rankin's a part of this there. We're on board with Rankin now. He's waiting for someone to make a mistake in front as we're going to go into the final section down into the main straight. So this is a great race. This is for second, third, fourth and fifth in the motor race. And don't write off 6. Gary Cousins in the background there. He'll be watching this little battle going, come on boys, you just battle a little bit more and I'll just range up onto the back of you as we're lap 8. 8 minutes 47 into 25s. We're going to go too wide into turn number 1. Richard Mayer, and Joe Baldwin side by side down into the hairpin. It looks like Richard's going to get the job done. Joe's going to try to do the switchback, nearly make contact there. That's going to allow Scotty Rankin to get a run down the back straight. So we'll see what happens to Scotty Rankin. Scotty Rankin's got to run up the inside, and Glenn Riddell's a part of this as well. We're going to go 3 wide as we make their way down into Murray's.
Oh, they've come together!
Oh, we've got contact and now around. Unfortunate there for Riddell. He's calling out to race control, but Daniel, we sort of saw that coming. That was a little bit exuberant early on into a 25-minute race, but we're here to go racing as we go back to the replay. 3 rides, Scott Rankin on the inside. Riddell's tried to back out of it a little bit, and it looked like the car on the outside just lost a little bit of judgment and created some contact. Like, we're here commentators, so we can't really make judgment on that, but 3 into that corner was never really going to work.
Yeah, he's tried to keep it on the inside, but there's way too much pace. He couldn't slow it down, and unfortunately he did have to back out of that. He decided to keep in, and he's come out second best there. Both of them going off the track. So that's put, let's have a look here. So Joe's now in P11 right behind Riddell. So they've got a lot of work to do. Luckily, they've still got, 14 minutes to go?
Yeah, 14 minutes to go, Daniel, as they make their way down through Brundle and Nelson once again. Back to Matt Schminke at the moment in the 14th position. So now he's up 17 positions. Stephen Brooks just in front of him, up 20 positions. So these are the biggest movers and shakers at the moment on your screen. So Stephen Brooks is in the purple car just in front of Matt. So Matt's also got Aiden Schwerker all over the back of him. Aiden, after starting out of the 6th position, finds himself down the grid a little bit in the 15th position. So he's looking to make his way back up through the grid and try and salvage some points here for what is round number 1 and race number 2 of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club Radicals season. So we go back to a replay here. Adam Johnson's had a little bit of an issue, we believe.
Ooh.
Catching those rears again there, Daniel. Just a little bit of catching the rears. I don't know if he had a little bit of help, but Adam Johnson, just a little bit of an incident there. Adam Johnson, for those of you new to the streams, he's in the up-and-comers, races against a lot of stuff in the GSRC, and he's a very big supporter of the club. So good to see him out there. Unfortunate for him to have that incident, but he's still travelling around in the 24th position. On board with Aiden Schwerker. Look at the damage on that car.
Yeah, that's exactly.
He's trying to navigate his way around for the next, I think, 13 minutes.
Oh, here we go. He's going to go on a move on Stephen Brooks here as he tries to go around the outside of Riches. Oh, and he's well to catch that car. It was starting to slide out on him, but he did well. But yeah, that's why I actually switched to the camera there. I just wanted to see how much damage that was. I believe that's actually from the start of the race. And if I can find a replay point, I will try to go back to that. So let's have a look here. So this is the start. And if we go
This
to
would be good to look at, actually. This is where they went all into Orbic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely nuts there. There are so many cars involved in that. So I'm not even sure. So who? Yeah, so it's the 101 Sam Chapman, I believe. Who unfortunately was the... So if we have a look here, just on board. So he takes off. And yeah, hits the back of that and just goes for an absolute ride there. Yeah, just absolute chaos. It's unfortunate for everyone at the back, but sometimes that's how this goes.
Yeah, that's motor racing, and that's the way it goes. Everyone keen to get off the start line, and obviously Sam Chapman just not judging the left-hand side of his little radical there quite well enough, and that's all it takes to cause a bit of an incident. But I don't mind saying, mate, we say Orbit as a thing, but we've got Orbic as a sponsor, so we could use that. They all went into Orbit. There we go.
They all went into Orbit.
A bit of sponsor stuff there for you as we're back on board. Braden Sagerson now in the 5th position, trying to make a move, and he's going to get that job done around the outside now. And Braden Sagerson, the one I said look out for, started out of the 12th position. He's now made the move on Stuart Ellis and up into 4th. The battle in behind is pretty exciting, though. That's Gary Cousins. He's all over the back of Brett Baker. So we're now 14 minutes in, but let's settle it down a little bit here now, Daniel. Let's just chill. Let's just chill a little bit as we let the guys get into sort of their pit stop strategies. We're going to see some pit stop strategies pretty shortly with people coming in and getting some fuel. But let's take the opportunity, let's have a little bit of more chat about the track, because I've got some more random information for you here on the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. So, the longest of the circuits here at Snetterton, ladies and gentlemen, is the 300 configuration. We're on the 200 tonight. It plays host to both the British Touring Car Championship and the British Superbike Championship, rather, each year. So, if you're watching those series, that's where it's at Snetterton. But the 200 that they're on tonight here for round number 1 is actually the original layout that Snetterton was. So what you're seeing now was the original. Now get this, the airfield itself that it was built on was opened in 1943 as Royal Air Force Snetterton, or Royal Air Force Snetterton Heath rather, if I want to be technical. It provided a home for the US Air Force 96 bomber group and its fleet of the B-17s all the way back in 1943. So a lot of history here at the Snetterton circuit, mate.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it seems to be the way to go, was these old airfields, and then they're sort of like, well, we don't need them. What are we going to do with them? And
let's make a racetrack.
Let's make a racetrack. We'll just go flying on the ground. And I'm glad that they did, because like we said, Silverstone is another one of those. Very famous, the home of the Grand Prix. That's where the first one was held, and is, of course, the current home of the British Grand Prix, and will be, I dare say, till the end. Can't imagine them replacing the British Grand Prix with anything but Silverstone. Let me have a quick think here. What other track? I'll tell you what, I'd love to see F1s around Brands Hatch. It'd be stupid.
I was about to say the same thing, actually.
It'd be stupid, but I'd love to see it.
Yeah, but in saying that, I'd like to see F1 around Bathurst too. We saw Jenson Button do it back in the day.
There is an issue. There is an issue with that, and it's this. I was there when Jenson Button took the Vodafone Mercedes around. It was awesome. But let's think of the current F1 calendar, right? What would you say is the most dangerous circuit?
Oh, mate, I don't follow F1 that well, to be honest. Dangerous, all of them.
No, okay, right. So
Monaco would be right up there.
Okay,
with the Armco.
Perfect, yeah. Right? So you would say Monaco. Now, most people would say Monaco because it's the first one they think of because it's a street circuit. It has had upgrades over time, but it is still in the... Like, Monaco's legal because it's Monaco, right? Like, if anywhere else tried to do that, they'd be like, you're out of your mind, but because it's been in the calendar so long, they sort of give it a pass. Now, take that and put it on a mountain. And that's probably why you don't do that, because I can only imagine the intense pileup that would occur if there was an accident in the S's.
But in saying that, I do have an argument for this conversation. Not that it be any validity, if I can say that 3 times quickly. F3s run around there in Australia. I know that's not Formula 1, but let's just say it'd be a little bit processional, I'd suggest, because of the aero wash coming across the top of the mountain. But anyway, let's go back to the motor race. Braden Sagasar up in the 4th position. He's chasing down Scotty Rankin. But Ellis still keeping him solid there in the 5th position. So Ellis, after a good race in race number 1, Braden being the man to come back after starting nearly stone motherless last in race number 1, now up into the 4th position. Ellis behind him, Barker, Cousins, Riddell, Wood, Maverick, Joe Baldwin. He's dropped down to 11th position as I'm looking through my live timing now as Nick Fodiatis. Sorry, I'll get my... I can't really say that really quickly, Nick, so I do apologise, but he's the one in behind Joe there in the 11th and 12th position. So Joe, after being in the 2nd position early on in this race, we're now 20 minutes in. He's just fallen back a little bit, but I'll guarantee you Joe will be happy. But Nick, starting out at 23rd, up 11 positions. He might be able to salvage a top 10. We're going to look at the pit lane window very, very shortly, ladies and gentlemen. We'll take the time again to quickly shout out to those sponsors here on the GSRC platforms, as Nick Fodiitis there just goes a little bit wide. So we'll bring up those sponsors once again. We're 5 minutes left here for race number 2, round number 1 of the Radicals here from Snetterton. So your sponsors here tonight are, of course, Orbic, who are the sponsors of the GT4 series that you can see on your screen there, which will be the next race we bring to you from Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the road course configuration. Of course, we've also got, when we wait for it to jump across, we'll go flash graphics. We've got Waste Options. So Waste Options, another big sponsor here for the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Loadsy Racing, a big shout out to them. Thank you, Loadsy Racing, for being a part of the GSRC Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Player One Sim Gear, jump onto them for all your sim gear. p1simgear.com.au, you can see that down the bottom there. M-Wave, big shout out to them as well. Without you guys, we would not be able to go racing. We would not be able to make this possible. Of course, Flash Graphics, a big shout out to them. Another big sponsor here for the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Thank you to Flash Graphics. Jump on and follow them through their socials, or give them a Google. Login Systems, managed IT business solutions, as you can see there as well. Jump in and support people that support us, the iRacing community, because without them, we don't go racing and we don't bring you this broadcast. So we're now 21 minutes in, or 21 and a half minutes rather, into 25, Daniel, as on board with Grant Gill in the 15th position. So Grant, he's down 2 positions, but it's heating up at the front at the moment. We do have Guy Leach 2 seconds up the road. Actually, for the first 3 or 4 positions, we've got a couple of seconds between them. So it looks like your second, third, fourth, fifth and first positions are pretty much tied up, but it's not over between Ellis and Barker for the 5th and 6th positions. So we'll keep an eye on that one as we're on board with Gary Cousins at the moment. This is a battle for 8th and 7th between Riddell. So you can see Riddell just in front of him. 22, nearly 23 minutes. We've only got, I'd suggest, about 3 laps to go here, Daniel, and we're about to see who's going to take out round number 1 for this season in the Radicals here around Snetterton.
I would have thought they'd have to pit, but it doesn't look like they do.
They would have had to as well. I probably should have taken more notice of that, so kudos to me for that.
Looking at the pit lap, so you have to go down all the way to P20, which was Troy Bacon, who got caught up at the chaos at the start and went in at lap 2. Everyone else hasn't pit yet, so everyone's going to be coming in at the same time for like a last splash and dash, or?
Yeah, I'm not sure, as we're 23 minutes in now. So as they make their way across the start-finish line, we could only suggest they've got 2 laps to go. We're looking at about 1 minute and 3 lap times for the leaders, 1 minute and 4 through the mid-pack. So I'd suggest next time across the start-finish line, we're going to see the white flag, possibly, or maybe one more. So Brett Barker there in the 6th position. It'll be interesting to see how they're going for fuel. Nick Fodiitis is actually on the comms at the moment, talking in the background. I can hear that through the race server. So we'll see. But Brett Barker trying to make the move here, or trying to make some gain on Stuart Ellis. That's what 0.45 of a second looks like, ladies and gentlemen, here around Snetterton as he makes his way through turn number 1. For what I'd suggest would be the second last time of asking tonight into the hairpin. Is he going to get a good run? He's got Braden Sagerson just in, sorry, no, I tell a lie, that must be a lap car in front. No, that's Scotty Rankin. That's 3rd position, is it? That looks like Scotty Rankin. No, it's not. It's a similar livery. I'm getting all confused here, but I'd suggest they're going to get 1 more lap to go. So we'll see. I haven't got the white flag up at the moment as Stuart Ellis is trying to make a move there. I don't know, is that a lap car there, or is that Scotty Rankin?
No, so Rankin is Oh, that's so. Adam Johnson is what you're thinking. He's there
right.
just in front of Sagasa. So that might be
right.
where you're.
That's throwing me out. That's definitely throwing me out. But we're about to go white flag racing, maybe, as my screen just completely freezes.
I believe we are on the white flag as we are into overtime. Oh, and he spun! Oh, and Ellis has gone into him. Oh, that's huge. That's absolutely huge. That's going to allow Lavis and possibly Paul Wood there at the back to catch up. Maybe, maybe not. There's a broken wing there on the back of Brett Barker's car. I don't know if Lavis is going to be able to catch him in the short time they have around the circuit. And also Guy Leach almost about to come to the start-finish line.
And we go through the final turn, and it will be Guy Leach coming home, and he'll take your feature race here for round number 1, race number 2 of the GSRC Radicals here from Snetterton. He's happy about that one. We've got the battle here for 9th position.
He gets him on the inside. Look at that. Look at that.
He's got him.
Yeah, if you're Brett Barker, you're screaming right now. Because unfortunately, yeah, look at that. He got overtaken twice before the line there. Drops all the way down to P12.
Wow.
That is rough.
That is major early doors championship implications for Barker. So he's not going to be happy with that one. He's still up 2 on his starting position, but that is definitely going to be, well, not a long way back. It's a long season, but it could have been a lot better for the start as Grant Gill goes across the line there in 14th. Kurt Chapman, we can see here now, he's going to come across the line, taking home the 17th position. Ticey will be in behind him in the 18th position. Started 28th, he'll be happy with that. Up into the 18th position, and then in behind him will be Tony Baker. But we'll just wait for everyone to cross the line here. Thank you to everyone joining the streams here on the Gentleman Sim Racing Club here for what is, like I've said numerous times, round number 1 of the Radicals. We are going to go shortly, once we talk to the winners, I believe we get a chance to. We'll go through your standings here for what was round number 1, race number 2. So Guy Leach, Richard Mayer and Scott Rankin held on to a third, and that rounds out your top 3 here at Snetterton. Glenn Riddell, Gary Cousins, Stuart Ellis, Adam Maverick, Paul Wood, Joe Baldwin and Nick Photiitis will round out your 10. Matt Schmidtke, Grant Gill, Stephen Brooks, Aidan Schwerkott, Braden Sagasa, mind you, after having such a good start to that one, up inside the top 4. He's not going to be happy with that. A night that what could have been for Braden. Kurt Chapman in 16th. Brett Barker, Adam Ticey in 18th. Tony Baker and Marty Mitchell rounds out your 20 for race number 2 as we go across the page. 21st will be John Baldwin. 22nd, Phil King, Brendan Nealon, Warren Ibbott, David Christensen, Adam Johnson, Kevin Henderson, Sean Rees, Pete Matto Matson after starting pole in that one he'd want to forget, and Jake Jackson rounding out your 30. Sam Chapman, Mitch McIntyre and Philip Howe will round out your 33 here, and that is round number 1 of season 4 of the Radicals here on the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. But please don't go away. Hopefully we can bring up some of the place getters. I'm not sure whether we'll have time as we're going to go straight across into the next one, but stay tuned here on the streams of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club because it's not over yet. We're going racing, we're going GT4 racing, and we're going to Indianapolis Road. So from myself and everyone, if we don't get a chance to talk to anyone, from myself and everyone here on the GSRC, stay streaming, stay watching, and get ready because we're about to bring you GT4s from Indianapolis Motor Speedway very shortly. will go quiet shortly, and we will bring you what will be round number 1 of the GT4 from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are a little bit late. I thought we were going across to the next one. We weren't sure whether we were going to get anyone up into the booth, but we're lucky enough to have a couple. So we'll have a chat to some of the drivers and who actually drivers that I've watched. I'll chat to Braden first, coming home in 4th. Mate, Braden, bit of an interesting race there, mate. Snetterton, 200 circuit. Very difficult track in the Radical per se. Well, for me, myself, it would be. But, mate, interesting race. Started out of 12th in the reverse grid there. Come home in 4th. So you got to be happy with that one in the 1.9 MX graphics, mate.
Yeah, 100%. It was just all about survival in the end. Just trying to methodically make your way through the field. Unfortunately, I did get a black flag for too many incidents with that last lap crash with, I think it was Brett when he locked the rears. But nothing to do. These cars are super easy to lock the rears with, but I think officially I finished P15, but unofficially P4, so I'm just going to say I finished P4.
Hey, we'll roll with P4. They're hard cars to drive, but you did a good job nonetheless all night and brought a lot of action to us up in the broadcast booth. But we saw a lot of that tonight with the rear locking, especially down through Brundle into Nelson through that change of direction. Did you find that was very tricky? We saw obviously Scott Rankin, and I'll speak to you shortly, Scotty, have a little bit of, not an issue, but when we were too wide, a little bit harder to keep control under the rear of the car. Did you find that was an issue or a little bit of a tricky place throughout the track to and sort of break the car?
Yeah, it's definitely a hard corner because you're trying to brake the car while turning left and then trying to turn right. The car doesn't like that. You could drive any car around here and it'd probably be the same. It's just that change of direction and the weight transfer of the car is probably one of the hardest things to master in pretty much any car. And this track really challenges you to try and get that perfect.
Well, mate, I don't mean to cut you short. We're going to have to make this really quick because we need to go GT4 racing at Indianapolis Road, mate. But you made the time to get up in the booth, 4th in the race. Obviously, post-race penalty, which is unfortunate for you. But give you a quick chance. You're on the broadcast. A little bit of a shout-out to those sponsors and people that make it possible.
Absolutely. Thank you, Aidan. Yeah, just the main sponsor, MX Wrapped. They've been a part of us for over a year now. Not over a year, sorry. For 10 months now. And we're great to have them on board, and obviously all the 1.9 boys that keep coming out to these races to promote them. But yeah, thank you, Aidan and Daniel, for broadcasting this race.
No worries at all, mate. There you go, Braden Sagasa, 4th place on track. Unfortunately, a post-race penalty. But there you go, you hear from someone here in the Radicals, and we go to your 3rd place getter. Hopefully he doesn't have a post-race penalty. Scotty Rattlecun Rankin, not our first time chatting, mate. 3rd place, well done with that. No, I would say tough night at the office, but I bet you it wasn't easy.
Yeah, the 3-hour enduro and these things was mental. That's certainly what it felt like. Yeah, I mean, what a race. I mean, to go 3 wide down the back straight as well. I've already messaged Joe and apologised to him. Obviously had that brake skittle on the run down into Nelson, getting the car straightened up, and when you've got no room to straighten it up, I've no idea how he managed to pull that thing up better than I did on the inside line when he had less room to work with, so he did a great job. Everyone around us, you know, it was squabbling, but it was clean, and unfortunately, such is British racing, that you miss it by 30 centimetres, you've basically ended up in the abyss, so...
Well, mate, at the end of the day, you come home with P3, which you'll be happy about. Started P4 in that final race. We will have to end it very quickly, Scott. I know we could chat all night.
Hey, me having a quick interview, Aidan. That's never happened.
No, what are you talking about? No idea. But, mate, P4, being solid all night, you'll be happy with that one. No post-race.
Yep.
Snetterton, tricky track, Radicals, you go to round number 2, but a good start to round number 1 and your championship here for the GSRC, mate. So a big congratulations to you in the booth. Of course, your opportunity. Quick shout out to everyone that makes it possible, and we'll wrap this one up and have to move across to the GT4s from the Indianapolis road.
Yep, so quickly, for the guys that I get to race with in Australia, to Right Sim Racing, and all the sponsors that make it possible for those guys, which is Bliss Homes, Mark Hughes Foundation, Gamer Gear Direct, and Card FX. And then I also want to say a big shout out to the new Oval team that I've been running with lately, Wanted Goons, Maconi Setup Shops, and Sonics, who make it for those guys. It's been really, really good to get back to my Oval roots and go chase some high-level racing in the US, so...
Nah, good stuff, Scotty. Hopefully I see you on some ovals shortly, but I haven't been doing a lot of them lately. But great to see you up here in the GSRC, mate, and having a good night, coming home with a podium here for race number 2. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. It is none other than Scotty Rankin, 3rd place tonight here for race number 2, round number 1 of the Radicals from Snetterton. It was Guy Leach, Richard Mayer, and Scott Rankin, as I just mentioned, in your top 3. Braden Sagasa, who we spoke to, 4th on track, but unfortunately a post-race penalty. That is round number 1 of the Radicals. We're going to wrap that one up. We're going to go to a bit of an intermission, and very shortly we're going to bring you round number 1 of the GT4s from none other than the famous Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But we're not just turning left rather. We're going right, and we're going road racing. GT4s it is here on the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club platforms. Stay tuned. Don't miss any action, because we're about to bring it here to you live very shortly. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Gentlemen Sim Racing Club here on your Wednesday night. Indianapolis Road Course is your location. Indiana, United States. You can see it on your screen right there. GT4 racing is what we are doing tonight. Can't wait for that. We've got a little bit of a, what do we say? A little bit of an extra commentator in tonight. Adam Tice. Ticey, just come off the Radicals there for round number 1 at Snetterton. Good evening to you, mate. Thank you for jumping into the booth. We're in the back end of qualifying. Jordan Malcolm, Sam Muir and Matthew Dench rounds out your 3. But good evening to you, mate.
Good evening, Schultz. Good evening, Daniel. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me. Yeah, just jumped out of the Radicals. Bit of a hot mess in the first race, but did okay in the second. And looking forward to the GT4s tonight, mate. It was, yes, real class turnout last season, and we got 40, nearly 40 odd cars on the grid. So we're looking for another class turnout this time.
Yeah, it's going to be an absolutely sensational race. As you mentioned, 40 cars on the grid. Malcolm, Muir and Dench, your 3, as I mentioned. Mikey Hammond in 4th, as you can see on the left-hand side of your screen. Laves, Chapman, Arnott, Knight and Augusten is 9th, with Cousins rounding out your 10. We're currently 18 minutes, nearly 19 minutes rather, into this 20-minute qualifying session we're about to go racing. So we'll bring up the information on the track. So as I mentioned, it is Indianapolis, and we're not just turning left tonight, we're turning right, and it is the road course. It will be a 40-minute race. We are in the United States of America. Track length is 3.85 kilometres, temperature 17 degrees Celsius at an altitude of 221 metres. Of course, myself in the commentary booth, Daniel Carriasar in with me, and Adam Tice in for this race as well. Michael Schroeder coming in saying, Schultzy, shush. Well, sorry, Michael, but unfortunately I need to talk, mate, so you're going to have to put up with me for the next 40 minutes. It is a 40-minute race, 19 minutes 50 in, so we're about into the end of qualifying, gentlemen. Malcolm, Muir and Dench, looks like that's going to be your 3, but we're about to go 40 minutes racing here for round number 1 of the GT4s here from Indianapolis Road Course.
Yeah, and it's interesting to note, Schultz, there's a good mix of different makes of car too. Looks going down the list, Mercedes wins out, but we've got our Beamers, got McLarens, Aston Martins, Porsches. So yeah, hopefully we also get a good mix of cars at the top end of the tree, and it'll be interesting to see how the first race goes. Generally the boys are itching to get to the first corner as quick as possible, but we'll see. Hopefully no first corner shenanigans tonight.
Yeah, definitely, and it's going to be interesting. Denchi back in 3rd. I've got to mention Denchi. He's a weapon in the GT cars, so he's in 3rd. He's won a lot in the GTs here in the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club, so look out for Denchi to make his way forward. Of course, Sam Muir as well. There is 2 minutes extra in qualifying as it runs over. So, see, anyone can make a last-ditch effort to try and get up the front. Sam Chapman there in 6th position. So can he go better? Is he going to get across the line before we run out of qualifying time? We're about to see. Thank you, Schroeds. Love your voice, mate. So we're getting a few comments here on YouTube. Like to see that. But big shout out too to Orbic, the main sponsors here for the GT4 series on the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club platforms. So big shout out to them. I did mention them earlier in the Radicals, but we're about to go racing, gentlemen. 40 minutes here around the Indianapolis road course. Of course, there is live race control that you can't hear, and there will be penalties served. But we're about to bring up your grid very, very shortly here for round number 1 of the GSRC. Sorry, I'm just reading my live timing at the same time of our GSRC GT4 guys. So we'll see. So it will be Malcolm, Muir and Dench 3 as I've mentioned, but we'll bring up the grid when they come on the grid. Of course, a big shout out to Flash Graphics, Player Sim Gear and Orbic for their sponsors sponsorship. We'll go through more of the sponsors later. So it is Jordan Malcolm off the pole with Sam Muir out of 2, Matthew Dench and Mikey Hammond out of 3 and 4, Trent Laves and Sam Chapman out of 5 and 6, Glenn Arnott and Jared Knight out of 7 and 8, Hodgson and Cousins out of 9 and 10. As we go across the page, 11 and 12 would be Russ Green, Jake Jackson, Dale Sharp and Kurt Chapman, 13-14, Dutch and Podiatis out of 15-16, Adam Proctor and Scott Campbell, 17-18, 19-20 will be Whitaker and Carew. Then we'll go across to Foster, Hill, Maverick, King, Christensen, Michael Schroeder, who's been on the comments. Better drive than comment, mate. Come on. Adams, Gill, Bradbury, and Adsheed out of the 30th position. 31 will be Radell, Schmidtke out of 32, Maddo out of 33, Paul Wood, Aaron Brian, Zamora, Clapham, Baldwin, Bud, and Matthew Brunt out of the massive 40-car field at the moment. So it looks like it's going to be 40 cars starting here at Indianapolis. It will be a rolling start, gentlemen. So we've got a lap to go through everything we need to go through, but 40 cars, GT4s here around Indianapolis, 40-minute race. Looking forward to this one for round number 1. I'm looking forward to see what Denchi does. Does Geordie Malcolm have the pace at the front on the long run? Sam Muir. Is someone from sort of the mid of the teens going to make a run? Jake Jackson from 1-9, keep an eye out for him. Russ Green is out of 11th. Is he going to have be someone to look out for as well? Don't write off Adam the Dr. Proctor in 17th. He'll be wanting to make his way forward. So who's one to look out for you guys tonight? Who do you think your money's on? We're going to throw them under the bus as we're about to go under the safety car to go green here for round number 1.
Yeah, I've got a bit of a dark horse. I'm seeing the name Brendan Whitaker way down in position 20. And Brendan and his brother Chris, stalwarts of the club, and they're generally at the pointy end of the field come production cars and those sorts of races. So I'm going to be watching closely on how Brendan Whitaker goes, and also Adam Lavis or Adam Maverick. He's a bit further down in the field than he would like, so I'm going to watch him. But if I go further up the field, Trent Lavis, Adam's brother, he'd be very, very happy with P5. And as you say, it'll be interesting to see, Schultz, how Denchi handles this, whether he's just going to let the teammates Malcolm and Muir stay at the front, or is it a case of him going to command the race early?
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see, and that'll be something to play out here on the streams of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. We'll keep an eye out on that. I'm sure they will use a little bit of team tactics, but don't write off the guys behind. It is a long race. It's going to be strategy, so it's not all going to be about race pace per se. It's going to be when they want to come into pit lane, fuel drop, do they take tyres, do they don't, where they sit in relation to the rest of the field. Of course, we got guys probably a little bit further down in the field where they would probably like to be as well, as you mentioned there, Ticey. So they're going to want to make their way forward as well. Martin Crew out of the UK, so he's down in the 19th position. So a UK driver in tonight, which is really good here on the streams of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. He is the only driver in the field from the UK, so good for him to be in here as well. Albeit probably living in Australia, that's me to guess at this time, but if he's not, good on him for being in the server as well. But we're about to go green flag racing very shortly here for the Orbic GT4 series, round number 1, Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the road course configuration. It will be a teammate lockout at the front. Jordan Malcolm, Sam Muir and Matty Dench, and then we've got Mike Heyman out of the fourth. So they're making their way around the final complex. We're about to go green here for round number 1. Who's going to get the jump out of Jordan Malcolm and Sam Muir? We're about to find out. Will it be Denchi making a move into 1, or will Hammer Time send the Hammer Time down into turn number 1? We've got a little bit left. We'll go through a left-hand corner here and onto the big wind-up onto the main straight. So we're about to go green. Ticey, turn number 1, We're about to go green, round number 1. Are they going to be behaved? We're about to get the green flag. Here we come onto the main straight, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and we are green. Round number 1 of the GT4 series here from Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and look at that field as they make their way down the main straight for the first time tonight into turn number 1. Malcolm's got the jump over Muir. We've got
a hit already.
Oh,
it's a hit already. I think it's, I want to say, is that Mikey? Yeah, Mikey's the one that dropped down all the way, got hit from the back. Not sure who did that, but it doesn't seem like there's major damage. Oh, where's the McLaren goes round?
That's Glenn Arnott. Glenn Arnott's gone around. That's, there's the typing,
another
the
big
typing
one in the
screen's going
background.
everywhere, flickering everywhere, our typing screen. So, wow. Yeah, as we kind of predicted, boys, first race of the new season, first corner shenanigans, and yeah, it's a bit of a blowout everywhere.
Yeah, we've got cars going around. Obviously, that's the replay here, the Orbic replay on Gentleman Sim Racing Club. So, cold tyres first lap, a little bit of adrenaline, a little bit of over-exuberance, and we've seen a couple of cars caught out early in that one. So, unfortunate for those guys. 40 minutes to go. Oh, there's a car on the replay there on the inside. Oh, no. Yeah, it looks like a bit of help there on that car coming through the corner, so that's unfortunate. But Mikey Hammond, we're on board with him at the moment. He started in the 5th position, I believe it was, and now, no, sorry, 4th position, and down into 7th. So he was the car in this exact corner that we're going into now that copped a little bit of rear end contact and just put him off track a little bit, or out of line a little bit, and he's recovered well though, and now he's up into 7th. That's Alan Holgerson in behind him and Russ Green. So Mikey Hammond, he's looking at making his way back. Long way to go, 2 minutes into 40 minutes. He's chasing down Sam Chapman. Trent Laves, so he started 5th, or Lavers, sorry, started 5th. You mentioned him early in the broadcast, Ticey, as they were on the roll-up lap, one to look out for. He's up 1 position, so he'll be happy in 4th position, just in behind Denchi there. So good pace there, following the teammates of Denchi, Muir and Malcolm. So I'm sure Denchi's teammates with Muir and Malcolm. Are they not, or do I stand corrected?
No, I think Denchi's he's in a team, I think it's PGZ. PGZ? Yeah. So he's in a different team to the two, I think they're 1-9, the two boys up the front.
Yeah, right. 1-9 is Malcolm and Muir. Right. All right, I'm catching up. I've come out of my rabbit hole and I'm catching up. But 1-9 in front leads the way, 1 and 2. We did speak to the 1-9 boys, or one of the 1-9 boys, in the previous broadcast in the Radicals. And they're doing well again here, leading the way. But look out for Denchi. But back to Brendan Whitaker.
Oh.
He's trying to make his way forward.
Shout out to the livery, though. That's awesome. That's a retro. That's a callback to the, I want to say, CLK GTR, I think. The GT1 racer, I think. Could be wrong there. But either way, love it.
How good does it look? And by the way, I got a bit of a soft spot for the Merc. I did run in the GT3s the other night in the Merc and in the AM split, and love the old Merc, and it's going all right. And that was another one you said, Adam, to keep an eye out for, and that is none other than, as you can see, Brendan Whitaker. So he's not used to being back that far in any sort of production-y type race, and he's making his way forward. And this is Andrew Dutch just in front of him at the moment. He's wanting to have a little bit of a look at Scotty Gamble down into this braking section just in front. So Scotty Gamble just protecting the line there as they make their way through this change of direction, and then they'll come on to what is the big, long main straight for what will be the 3rd time tonight. We're now 4 minutes into 40, so we're 1/10 race distance already, gentlemen, as Scotty Gamble looks like Dutchie's going to try and make a move down the back straight. Oh, we're into the wrong section, actually. Sorry, my apologies. But definitely a big little battle here as he goes off, as Scotty Gamble goes off.
It's going to allow Whitaker up the inside now. So
now we're down to the section of the racetrack that I was mentioning before. So we'll catch up with that 2 corners later. But boys, I'll leave it over to you. We're 5 minutes into 40. Big shout out to our sponsors, Orbic Solutions, of course, Login Systems, Player One Sim Gear, and as I said, Login Systems. Thank you for everyone tuning in here on the GSR streams. But Adam Tice and Daniel Saar, I'll let you take over for a couple of minutes and give me a bit of a rest after having nearly an hour previously, as we're here for round number 1 of the GT4s at Indianapolis Road. But it is Malcolm Muir and Dench leading the way as we watch Dutchy try and make his way through the field.
Yeah, Schultz, you need a bit of a rest after flying solo for the first one, and thanks for jumping in tonight for the commentary with the Radicals in the first race. GT4s we have tonight, obviously, and it's interesting to note the first 4 positions are four different makes. So we've got a McLaren at the front, then a Porsche, then a Merc, then a Aston. And Sam Muir, who's running P2, he currently has the fastest lap of 1:30.230. Which is he's just under a second behind his teammate Jordan Malcolm, but Matthew Dench is right on his tail, ready to pounce. And I'm just wondering, Daniel, whether Matty Dench is just biding his time. We obviously know that he is the master of fuel saving. We expect nothing less than him being up the pointy end of the field. And so it'll be interesting to see how Denchi plays this out.
Yeah, we know he's got tricks up his sleeve. We've seen it time and time again, and that's exactly what he's going to do here. He's going to allow Sam Muir to basically punch a giant hole in the air for him, and that'll mean he'll be able to use less fuel, and he'll be able to use less effort since we've got 40 minutes on the clock. So that's what he'll do. He'll sit back, he'll bide his time, and then once the pit strategy starts to come in, you'll see Matt Dench probably rocket away. The only thing is the cars are slower. So we're used to seeing him smash it out in the Porsche Cup cars and, of course, the GT3s as well. With this, I think the field's a little closer. I'm not too familiar with the GT4 field. I was racing in it, which is why I wasn't paying attention to everyone at the front because I was never there. So it is what it is. But, so yeah, I would imagine that that the 19MX Raps boys aren't going to let this go without a fight. But knowing how Matt Dench operates, I expect to see him really put in a gap towards the later half of the race.
Yeah, and as they're coming down the main straight now, we're just crossing over the line for lap number 6. Denchi right on the back of Sam Muir. As we have Sam Chapman in P6, he's just put in the fastest lap of 1:30.012, so he's almost into the one. He's a hair's breadth off the 129s, which we did see in qualifying. So no doubt, if you get that close to a 129, I'm pretty confident they'll end up getting in there at some point in time. But I think we also mentioned Jared Knight too. He's up 3 spots in P5. He's no slouch behind the wheel. He's just he's about a second in front of Sam Chapman, and then Mikey Hammond is close behind Sam. What are we looking at? Just under a second behind Sam. So there's all to play for. Lap 6, and there's just kind of looking down the live timing here. There's a few guys that have further back in the field that have gained quite a significant amount of spots, but then there's feel a bit sorry for Glenn Arnott, who car 015. He's down. He's the biggest loser tonight so far. I say that respectfully. He's lost 25 spots. He's down in position 32. As we look at a couple of replays, as Kurt Chapman, he's yeah, just way off. So Kurt's decided he's going to go the long way around, and then slows up a bit.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait for everyone to get past.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if he was waiting for everyone to get past or he's getting a tow for some reason, but no, that's the way to do it. And here's one of my tips, Trent Lavis. He's very close to the front of the field. These guys, he's not letting them get away at all. And yeah, I'm pretty confident that that Trent is going to move forward, even though these guys at the front are setting the pace. But there is a big train. There's a big train right there. So It'll be interesting how this plays out. Certainly later in the race, we're probably a little bit too early for any major moves to happen so far. But as we look further down the field, Jake Jackson in car 116, he's coming up on the inside of the red car. I didn't quite catch who that was.
Yeah, it's Dale Sharp there in the BMW.
Dale Sharp. Okay, Dale Sharp, and he's got a. Dale Sharp always impresses with liveries. He's got a big Mobile 1 livery on the side. So from memory, he likes running Mobile 1 liveries. So good on Dale. And then we're just kind of going further down. Oh, and Mikey Hammond now has the fastest lap. He's 0.003 in the 130. So he is he's looking mighty quick. Daniel, I know you mentioned before you were in the GT3. GT4, are we considering that there might be any draft in these? I'm not sort of super familiar with the draft at all.
No, there is a draft in these cars. There's almost a draft in every car, to be honest. But with the GT4s, basically because they are slower than, say, your GT3 variants or the Radicals we saw, the Downforce Legends, because of that, momentum is key. So you want to make sure that, you know, obviously you're using the brakes to slow down, but you want to keep the minimum speed as high as possible. And these cars give you a lot of balance to do so. So you want to be in that draft, but you also want to be making sure you hit your brake markers, use the brakes as little as possible, use the turn into the car, and really get that minimum corner entry speed up there. Because if you drop 10 Ks, it feels like a lifetime to get that speed back. And the guys that are consistently running up the front, they are making sure that they are optimizing their entry and exits every single corner. And so, yes, speed is absolutely key. The longer you can stay in someone's draft, obviously, like I was saying before, your car you use less effort. The car in front does all the work in terms of the aerodynamics. You just get sucked up right there. The problem is when you have to make the move, when you pull out of that little pocket. When you pull out of that pocket, you have to make sure you keep that minimum speed up, because if you don't, then you're going to notice the car doesn't actually want to make the pass. Yeah, it's a really interesting balance with these cars, which is why I think sometimes they produce fantastic racing.
Yeah, I'm back, boys, and I need to chime in here because I definitely agree, and thank you for letting me have that little 5-minute hiatus. You see in the back end of Indianapolis Motor Speedway, as you see in the top right-hand side of your screen, the back end of the track has a lot of change of direction too. So being able to utilise that change of direction, and as you mentioned, Daniel, keep that mid-corner roll speed up is definitely so important, because you're coming onto the very long front straight. So change of direction, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm like you, Daniel, usually I jump in these cars and at the back as well. So but change of direction and keeping that mid-corner speed up and roll speed is definitely very important, as we see Andrew Dutch now.
Yeah, he cut the chicane.
He
cut the chicane, and he got a slow down. I thought as much. Yeah. When he went over it, I was like, if that's not a slowdown. And then I saw him, is someone's gone? Moves it off the track. I think that's Matzo. I think that's Matto. Yeah, what happened here? And that's the transfer of weight there, just snapping on the left-hand turn, and luckily just getting missed there.
And good to see what Matto did right there, holding the brakes, which is what I didn't do in the Radicals. Unfortunately, because I was trying to get out of the way, and I unfortunately took Sean Reese out, which is my bad totally. So rule of thumb: if you spin out, just hold your brakes and let everyone try and go around.
Well, boys, 14 minutes now into 40 here for round number 1 of the GT4s here at Indianapolis. And we do have Malcolm, Muir and Dench at the front. Adam Maverick now in the 15th position. That's Scott Gamble right in front of him, trying to make his way forward. In front of them is Brendan Whitaker as well. But of course, we're 15 minutes in. We've got to shout out to the sponsors. Of course, Orbic is the one. They are the sponsors of this series, the GT4 series for round number 1. I'll make a quick shout out again, boys, and I'll let us get back into the racing as we are on board. So Orbic is the sponsor of the series. Of course, Player One Sim Gear. For all your sim gear, jump on to p1simgear.com.au. You'll find all your sim gear where you can purchase everything you want. So Player One Sim Gear, p1.com.au. Of course, Lobsy Racing. Big thank you to them for supporting Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. GSRC.in.au if you don't know where to find it. M-Wave, and a big thank you to them as well. M-Wave, a big sponsor. Oh, there was a little bit of contact there. M-Wave, a big sponsor of the series as well, and for the club. Flash Graphics, jump onto them through your socials, through Google, everything you want in relation to that. Jump onto Flash Graphics. We thank you. Waste Options, of course, they are a big sponsor of the series and a big sponsor of the league, not series, rather just the league. Login Systems, jump onto them and support them as well. I keep saying that, and we can go through them as much as we want, but gentlemen, guys, if it was not for them, we would not be going racing. We would not be able to have a broadcast. We would not be able to have a league. So everyone looking and watching the broadcast, everyone involved, all the families out there, support the people that support the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club, because without them, you don't have the broadcast, we don't have the racing, and we don't go racing. So a big thank you to those guys, and we'll support you where we can. So, boys, we are 16 minutes into 40. Malcolm, Muir, Dench, Laves, and Knight, your 5, as we're on board with Knight, catching up on the back of Lavers at the moment.
Yeah, I would echo those thoughts, Schultz, in relation to the sponsors. They, have a club if it wasn't for them helping us put on broadcasts where you can watch great racing and listen to boring commentators, it gives us an opportunity to help out and be a part of what is a great club. And it's growing. I think we're over 500 members now, and it's continually growing. We see in the Discord almost daily new guys joining, so we welcome all the new members as well. And it's a great place to make some great friends and really enjoy a common interest. And I've certainly learnt some better racecraft for the likes of asking questions. And one of those series that does help with that is the Uppercomers, which you and I are very familiar with, Schultz, and it's a great series to be a part of. But that's Tuesday nights, but this is GT4 tonight, and it's we have our first our second two runners in the 129s now. Jordan Malcolm, our front runner, who's leading the field, he's popped a 129.990, but Trent Lavis is a 129.963, so he's just pipped Malcolm for the fastest lap so far.
Yeah, Trent definitely getting a bit of pace here now, going probably, I'd say, late three-quarter stint. So Trent, good on his tyres, getting lower fuel now, so trying to make his way forward, on board with Adam Maverick again. Adam, lifetime member here on the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club, so he does a lot of work behind the scenes for GSRC. So Adam, a big shout out to you. Usually he's behind the cameras for a lot of the broadcasts, and now he's behind the wheel and doing a good job at that, mind you, up into the 15th position in that Castrol livery. So we'll see whether he can make his way forward a little bit more. Scotty Gamble we're on board with now. That's Adam's front end of that Aston Martin going down the straight. Is he going to want to make a move? I don't think so this time. He's just trying to save a bit of fuel. So he pokes the nose up the inside and goes for a late braking move, and Gamble's going to let him have that one into turn number 1, and Maverick gets that job done. So Adam Maverick now up into the 13th position. Now Gamble's going to be a little bit under pressure there from Scotty Gamble and Gary Cousins. So he let Maverick through, but now he's going to be under pressure from the cars behind as we're going to be getting closer to the pit stop window. I'm not sure exactly how long. They're definitely going to have a pit stop, but Maverick getting that job done, and what a move that was.
Yeah, it was a nice clean move from Adam, which you expect from him anyway. But he's actually pulled out a gap pretty quickly on Gamble. So maybe Gamble was just holding Maverick up a little bit. So, but what that's also done is pulled Gamble towards Gary Cousins and Andrew Dutch. So it'll be interesting to see whether they can hold on to Adam or whether he's able to pull away. He'll be chasing after
Mikey Hammond's dropping down the timesheets, boys.
Okay.
Mikey Hammond's dropping down the timesheets. Sorry to cut you off there, Ticey.
No, all good, all good.
So Mikey Hammond's dropping down the timesheets. He's now back. He's going. Yeah, right. So something's happened there. We might go back to a replay shortly as we're on board with Dutchy.
He's just gone into the pits.
Yeah, right. Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's
he's
why
just
he
done
dropped
his
out.
mandatory pit stop. So, yeah, so there's your first pit stop of the night by the looks of it. We got Mikey Hammond going into the pits. So, bit of a different strategy. I thought they would have gone longer as we have contact there between Joe Baldwin
And Glenn Arnott.
and was that the leaders of the race that just got
No.
around that as well? No?
No,
Oh, 9 cars.
there's 1,019 cars in this race, I think. So.
Oh, mate, it's hard to catch up. There's purple everywhere. I got no idea. But Dutchy we're on board with as well. But Mikey Hammond, he goes through pit lane, and he's the first one to make a bit of a blink. So we'll see what happens. We're now 21 minutes into 40, and we're over halfway race distance here for round number 1 of the GT4 GSRC League here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We had the pleasure, obviously, of bringing you the Radicals. We're here for the GT4s. We're already half race distance, gentlemen. Are you kidding me? As Brett Bradbury in the 23rd position there is chasing down the Mercedes in front. It's good to see all the different makes, though. As you see, Aston Martin, Ferrari, Mercedes, McLaren, BMW, top 5. So, all different makes within the top 5. How good is this?
Yeah, and I want to give a bit of a biased shout out to mate Brett Bradbury. I've been racing with the Big Boss boys, so I've been racing in their team, and then I've kind of been running my own liveries, but I'm still technically with them. So looking forward to some endurance races with the boys further down in the year. And also a shout out to Brendan Van Ryn and our teammate Greg Padgett, who's still recovering from lung transplant surgery. So Greg's a familiar name to everyone in the GSRC club. Very much a regular, but he's obviously, with all that he's been through, been away from the rig for an extended amount of time. So we continue to send our thoughts to Greg and wish him a speedy recovery. So, boys, interested to note that the top 5 really haven't changed, but Matthew Dench now has the fastest lap at 1:21.902. So,
Is he turning the screws now, Ticey? Is he turning the screws? Has he sat back? Let's keep an eye on that interval. 3.8 seconds to the leader, 1 second to the car in front. Is Denchy going, I know more than you know, and I'm going to make my way forward, as Trent Lavers is having a massive battle for 4th position, and he's going to get the job done over Denchy, as I say. Is he going to make his way forward? So there goes my theory, is Trent Lavers goes up into the 3rd position. So Denchy struggling a little bit here, maybe. Are we calling out a Denchy struggle here on the GSRC streams, because he's got Jared Knight in behind him as well?
I don't think the word struggle is in the Dench dictionary, is it? I'm not.
Oh, it's not. I'm just trying to create content here, boys.
I mean,
You're talking about a guy who came on after a race and told us, "Oh yeah, my shift up paddle didn't work, and so I had to shift up with the keyboard."
Oh, no.
There's no struggle don't work for this. He might have a slight hurdle, if that. But it is good to see, though. Like, he is really getting pressured here from Trent and also Jared Knight as well. Jared's not letting the back of that Merc go at all. But we still have just under half the race to go. I reckon things are coming.
Yeah, there's something happening. It's good to see Jared up there as well. I did a lot of commentary and broadcasting for Jared, well, not for Jared himself, but for Blendline TV and a Porsche Cup thing that we used to broadcast a couple of years ago. And Jared Knight's no mug. It's weird to see him in a Mercedes but not weird to see him at the front of the motor race. So up in the 5th position, Jared Knight, after starting in the 8th position as well. So Knighty doing a good job. Holgerson holding on to the back of, sorry, not holding on to the back of him, 8 seconds behind as well. So Nick Fodiatis, he was in the Radical race with you earlier, Ticey, as well. So Nick's backed up, and I believe, yeah, he's up inside the top 10 now here for round number 1 of the GT4. So Nick, not only was he okay going good in the Radicals, he can drive a GT car as well, and now finds himself up inside the top 10.
Yeah, and I think from memory, Nick is one of the originals of the GSRC. So Nick's been around for a long time. He's also one of the gentlemen that's kind of in charge of our Friday night wings and slicks events with the IndyCar. Are we allowed to say that word on broadcast? But isn't there some sort of rule?
Fire rating.
Yeah, you can, but it's a stupid rule.
Stupid rule. Anyway, yeah. So Nick looks after our Friday night racing. Let's just put it like that. But it is great. Yeah, I did notice Nick in the Radicals. And
Scott Gamble. That's a late pit entry. He was halfway through the corner before he did that. But anyway, that's all good.
Tell you what, Ticey, I wish I did that pit entry last night. That would have served me better. But that was good there by Scotty Gamble. Good pit entry. As he's going to make a couple of positions through pit lane by the looks of that. As Knighty there now are on board in 5th, still chasing down Denchi and Labours in front of them as well. So, yeah, I wish I would have done that pit entry last night, but that's a conversation for another night, I think.
Yeah, look, it's and it's not only the pit entry that you had problems with, Schultze. It was the what's the word? Oh, I can't remember. But you mistakenly took tyres as well, so you had all sorts of drama in the pit. So you didn't have one of your better nights last night. But what that did...
No way!
Teammates!
No way! Oh, no way. Now, hold on. I gotta check that one more time. Now, he's got damage. It's very clear that he's got damage, but...
That's going to be a bad debrief if I've ever seen one.
Oh...
I don't understand, boys.
Glenn Arnott into his teammate here, 27.5 minutes into 40 on the GSRC streams. Are you kidding me? 2 teammates there around. We're back on with Jared Knight, still chasing down Matty Dench. Matty Dench into 4th. Back to Adam Maverick. So Adam inside the top 10. He's going to make a move now. Looks like Fodiatis and Whitaker in front, down into turn number 1. So that's going to be Fodiatis making the move on Whitaker, and Adam Maverick in behind as well. So he's going to want to capitalise on this if he can. 12 minutes to go, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Gentleman Sim Racing streams. Aidan Schultz in the booth with Ticey, Daniel Saar, brought to you by Orbic, and all the sponsors here, round number 1, Indianapolis Motor Speedway on the road. I tell you what, Adam Maverick, keep an eye out for him. He's been making his way up slowly, up 13th position.
There goes Whitaker.
Brendan on the inside, well done.
Yep, nice clean move. And Nick and Adam are teammates, so they'll be making sure that they don't let Brendan get too far ahead. So as we see, I think Jordan Malcolm, he might be pitting. Going to assume he's not in.
Malcolm's in pits.
Okay.
Sam as well. So both Malcolm and Sam.
Okay, so the top guys are starting to think about pit stops now, of course, and that'll what's that has done is moved Trent Lavis into P1. So I wonder if Trent's going to be thinking, hey, I've got a bit of clean air here. I might get my skates on and see if I can make up some time.
Yeah, he'll want to try to make up some time quick smart, because last lap Matthew Dench did a 1:29.8 and set the fastest lap of the race. So like I said,
It
as
goes
it
pedal.
goes towards the end of the race, he starts to turn it up. Now, Trent is in control at the moment, but they both have to pit. Actually, everyone from P1 to 9 have to pit at some point. But once these resolve, I would not be surprised if Matt Dench comes out in front of Jordan Malcolm and Sam Muir. But it'll depend on how much you can save and how fast the transit time is through the pit lane.
Yeah, well, Sam Muir was pretty quick early doors. They will not be taking tyres, I'd suggest. Just a quick top-up with the late pit in this race. But Denchi definitely starting to turn the screws, as you said, with a 1:29.833 late on in this race. We'll see what his lap times are over the next couple of laps. On board with Denchi there, he's chasing down Labors. He'll utilise the draft as much as he can here as well to try and shorten his pit lane transition with the fuel as well. So we'll see how we go. When are they going to blink? When are they going to go? Labors will probably go a lap early. If not, they'll go together. But Denchi definitely one to look out here for, guys. Also, where did Sam Muir and them come out in the field? Are they going to get balked as we go on to a replay with Pete Matson? Looks like he's had another incident tonight, and it looks like he's called that a night.
Which is unfortunate for Pete, because Pete loves his racing, and he's got the Orbic livery. I think Pete's an employee of Orbic, or certainly has some sort of head in the game with Orbic, who is our sponsor of the GT4 series. And again, we thank them for being a massive part of this series. Boys, Brendan Whitaker's, I think he's just pitted, so he's moving down the timing sheet. And
Let's
as we
just-
see,
Let's just keep an eye on this man. Sorry to cut you off.
See?
Oh, there
See?
was an incident there. He's just over brake there. That was the Dench factor.
Yeah,
right
see?
there.
Everyone comes in and he's like, why are you guys coming in for? There's plenty of fuel in the tank.
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
It's
He's-
just...
He's got an extra lap in the tank, Denchy. So we'll see. Expect him to come into pit lane next time round, I'd suggest. 32 minutes into 40. I'm keeping an eye on Sam Muir where he's on track. He's got 2 seconds in front of him to Malcolm. Sorry, 3 seconds to Geordie Malcolm. So he's got free track. So this is the lap which is really important for Matthew Dench. He needs to do one of the best laps he can to try and transition in and out of pit lane. You can see him there taking all of the racetrack, and he's going to have to do the best lap he can to try and transition in and out of pit lane, and we'll see where Matthew Dench ends up when he comes out of pit lane. He's not going to have a lot of time to be able to do anything with it, so this lap is very imperative, and the 183 of Matthew Dench, Team PGZ, is throwing everything at the wind here in the AMG, trying to get the best lap time he can. So he's making his way around through the mid section of the track now. We'll see what he does, boys, as he comes into pit lane. He's got a couple of corners to navigate now, down through the right and left hand turns, and then he'll go right again, into pit lane now. So Denchi into pit lane. Where is he going to come out? Will he be able to transition through pit lane cleanly? He's going to hit the pit speed limiter there, does that cleanly, and he makes his way down pit lane. Let's keep an eye on where all his competitors are. Sam Muir is the one that we really want to keep an eye out for. He's 39 seconds behind him at the moment. So where's Denchi going to come out, as we're only going to have about 5 minutes left in this race for round number 1 of the GT4s here on the Gentleman Sim Racing Club at Indianapolis Road course, as Denchi is about to come in to his pit box.
what are we looking at here, guys? So Jordan, Malcolm, Sam Muir, they'll be looking to capitalise on Denchi being in the pits, but obviously Denchi doesn't have as long to fill, so it's a bit of a.
Oh, he hasn't come out in front.
Yeah.
No. So it's as you were before the pit stops.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought that would have been closer, to be honest. So there we go. Denchi coming out in relative third. on track. Is he going to have anything for the 1.9 MX Graphics guys in the last 5 minutes of this race? I tell you what, he's going to hold nothing to the wind here, and he's going to try send that AMG. He's got 5 minutes to do so, as we're back to Sam Chapman in the Porsche in 6th position. So this is a battle for 6. He's got Jared Knight in front of him. Jared Knight now up into 5th, up 3 positions. So Jared's had a nice solid night as well, guys. So definitely a lot of places to look here, and a lot of different battles on track, as we are just about to click over 5 minutes to go here for round number 1 at Indianapolis Road here for round number 1 of the GSRC GT4 Orbic series here on the Gentleman Sim Racing Club streams. Gary Cousins back here in the 14th position as well. So that's Andrew Dutch just in front of him, and Gary Cousins behind him as well. So on board with Gary here. This is a nice little juicy pack late on in the race.
Yeah, this was we had pictures of this probably 5 or so minutes ago when it was Brendan overtaking Nick Fodiatis with Adam over behind. So I'm not sure where Nick's gone. He seems to...
Nick?
Where has he gone?
Where has Nick gone? I can't see him. Oh, there he is in P29. Oh, so something's happened there.
Okay, so Nick's had a shocker. But he was in this group. He was in the group with Gary and Dutchy and Whittaker and Scott Gamble. So that's strange. I'm not sure what's happened to Nick, because he's not prone to making too many mistakes. So hopefully he didn't get caught up in someone else's accident, which isn't too much of a problem with the track like this, long and flowing and quite a bit of runoff, which is certainly something completely different to what we experienced in the radicals at Snetterton in the race before this one.
Say that 3 times quickly.
Oh, gee, that was tough getting out the first time, mate.
But on board with Jeff Adams. This is a battle for 20th at the moment. So Richard King just in front of him as well. Rob Hill in front. So Mercedes at the moment in that little battle. Jeff Adams, so he's up 7 positions. Started 27th. So nice solid night behind the wheel for Jeff. He'll be happy with that. Quite clean so far. But pretty spicy little battle pack here at the back end of the race, 37 minutes into 40. So Jeff Adams, Ramrod Racing, he's going to want to make a move. I'd suggest he's looking pretty racy on Richard King. We'll see whether he gets the job done later on in the race. We're only 2.5 minutes to go now, so we're looking at 1 minute 30 lap time. So we're only 2 or 3 laps away from the end of round number 1 of the GSRC GT4s here from Indianapolis Road. Rob Hill now in that pretty pink car. How good is that car? I like a bit of pink on a race car, and he's doing good in the 18th position. This is a really spicy pack. Couple of laps to go. Don't be surprised if we see something. 2 teammates, Ramrod Racing, you can see there in the background too. Are they going to be gentlemen-like, unlike what we saw between the previous teammates earlier doors? But 38 minutes in, boys. It's about to go. I'm keeping an eye on Denchi. He's 2.6 seconds behind the 1.9 guys. It looks like they've got the job done on him at the moment, which is very surprising. I thought he would have had something, but the 1.9 guys are definitely very quick. But Rob Hill, how good is his livery as we're only a minute and a half before getting the white flag in this one.
Richard King wanting to have another look again, and he did think about it in turn 1 on this lap, so he's getting a bit, I think it's okay to use the word impatient, because he's looking to capitalise with only less than a minute and a half to go. So Rob Hill will be has got Richard King all in his mirrors. So but yeah, it's you're right about.
Oh, he's pushing him through the corner.
Look out! And on the team, let's hope we don't have another teammate collection. That's not good for morale. Yeah, that's look. You do see pushing on an Indianapolis circuit, just not the road course.
And not through the corner, mind you, but he's definitely trying hard, and we'll see what he does down into turn number 1 this time around. Looks like he's got a bit of a pace over the car in front. Is he going to be able to utilise it and make a move? We're about to find out, as we're only about 30 seconds into coming into race distance. So we're going to get white flag this time around. So the 26 of Hill, he's being chased down as we go back to Geordie Malcolm. Geordie Malcolm, what a race from him. Started out of the pole position. He's in first position at the moment. Sam Muir in the Porsche is in second behind. It is a 1.912. What a good start to this season it has been from 1.9, albeit having one lap to go. I believe they've taken the white flag. So Malcolm over Muir. Denchi's now 2.7 seconds behind Muir. He's got 3 seconds over Labors, and Knight rounds out your 5. So we're about to crown the winner for round number 1 here at Indianapolis for the GT4s here on the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club. Of course, brought to you by Orbic. So we're going to go back to Brendan Whitaker. He's had a bit of an incident, the one that you called, Ticey, that was going to have one to look out for. It looks like he's now ejected from the servo as we're a lap to go.
Yeah, sorry about that, Brendan. It's yeah, I didn't mean it, but no, it's not. Oh, what's happened? Oh, Sam Chapman, he's just done that on his own. I don't know if it was. Yeah,
Well, we
can't make that one out.
Well, we're back on board as Chapman had that little issue. We're back on board with Jordan Malcolm. We're going through the final sector of the track, and we're about to, I would believe, take the checkered flag, and we do. Your winner for round number 1 of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club's GT4 series here at Indianapolis. It was Jordan Malcolm. Sam Muir across the line in second. Here's the battle for 8th. Sam Chapman and Dale Sharp, I believe, in behind. Who's going to get that one? And it is Sam Chapman's going to get that one as well. So there's 8th and 9th as everyone keeps streaming across, as there's the pink car skid lid art of Rod Hill. I want to get that paint. I love that paint. How good is that on the Merc?
Oh, what's happened here?
Instant-
Oh, no. Oh,
no.
That's ugly.
We saw that coming about 3 laps ago, did
Yeah,
we not?
did. Yeah, we did. Yeah. What that did, I don't know who got into Rob Hill there, but it stuffed up his teammate. So if we have a look here, boom.
Oh.
That's a rough one.
Yeah, it is a rough
Race control's going to be busy in this one, boys, I think. But what a race for round number 1 of the GSRC GT4s as we keep going. Nick Fodiatis, after having a good start to this race, he had a bit of an incident. And
Aaron Bryant on the outside. I think Schmidt got a slowdown.
he would have. And Fodiatis is trying to capitalise on this. Is he going to get across the line in front? And he doesn't. So unfortunate there for Fodiatis. A race there that what could have been.
No, hold on. I think he ran out of fuel.
Yeah, he's out. Oh.
I'm not sure. I'm not too sure about that one. I'm not too sure about that one. But at the end,
What's he doing? That's the fuel thing.
oh yep, you hear that?
Yeah, definitely fuel.
Oh, you're joking.
He was about 400 metres short.
And I think poor old Matt Schmidt had a fuel issue in the GT1 race last night too. I think he was short in that.
Ah,
as well,
so did I. Yeah.
Okay.
Look at the disappointment on this man's face.
Lucky there's a visor down, because they'd be red mist. They'd be red mist. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Round number 1 of the GT4s here on the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club. On a Wednesday night, we'll go through your place getters, and it was a 1912 MX Raps Racing. Jordan Malcolm coming home in the first position. Sam Muir in second. Matty Dench coming home in third. Old Matty Dench, we thought he would have been up there and fighting for the win. We got that one wrong, but good job by him nonetheless. Brent Labour's coming home in 4th, Jared Knight, and Jake Jackson, another 1-9. So a 1-9, 3 cars in the top 6. What a drive by those guys. Alan Holgerson in 7th, Sam Chapman in 8th, Dale Sharp in 9th, and Mikey Hammond rounding out your 10. Adam Maverick coming home in 11th tonight, Scotty Gamble in 12th, Paul Wood, David Christensen, and Gary Cousins rounding out your 15. Richard King came home in 16th tonight with Martin Carew, Jeff Adams, Rob Hill, and Michael Schroeder rounding out your 20. In 21st position tonight was Mark Foster, Brett Bradbury in 22nd, Aaron Bryan 23rd. Fodiatis, after a very interesting night on what would have been a positive night, being up there earlier, finishing in 24th. Matt Schmidtke in 25th. Joe Baldwin in 26th, Anthony Adsheed in 27th, Grant Grill 28th, Sam Clapham 29th, and Kurt Chapman in 30th. Brendan Whitaker, the one that we saw moving forward earlier, not the night he would have wanted, but come home in the 31st position. Andrew Dutch 32nd, Russ Green in 33rd, Pete Matto Matson on a night that could have been as well. Radicals and backing up double duties in the GT4, the treasurer of the GSRC League in 34th. Glenn Arnott in 35th, Dave Riddell 36th, Adam the Doctor Proctor in 37th, Eduardo Zamora in 38th, Jamie Budd 39th, and Matthew Brunt rounding out your 40 cars tonight, 27 laps down. Orbic Australia GT4 Challenge here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It definitely didn't disappoint, gentlemen. 40 minutes around the track, and what a race it was. And Jordan Malcolm in 1-9 absolutely made an stellar effort tonight to get 3 cars inside the top 6.
Yeah, it was a very good night for the 1-9 team. We were a bit worried when Matthew Dench popped into the server, but the boys did a fantastic job, and yeah, car felt really good.
Well, Geordie, I sort of didn't segue into you, but it's good to have you in here, mate. I'll come back to you shortly, mate. I'll jump down to Denchy firstly. He's not in here yet.
No, he's not in here.
So we'll go the other way. We'll go for first. So, Geordie, mate, off the pole, got the win. 40-minute race. How'd that one play out from your perspective?
Yeah, it was a very demanding race, very tough. Yeah, the McLaren was very loose to get the thing to work, so with the bob it's got on it. So just trying to push as hard as I could to try and break the draft from Sam and everyone else behind. A little incident with the lap cars, but apart from that, it was a mostly clean race for myself.
And fuel-wise, mate, leading the race the whole way, obviously people were trying to sort of sit in behind you and probably utilise that draft and save a little bit of fuel. Was that a worry for you moving your way through the race, or you felt like you had the pace and you had the fuel drop, you were good to go?
No, it was certainly a worry, especially with Matty Dench there. You know how good he is on the fuel save. So it was always in the back of my mind how much would lose, but I felt confident in my pace that if I did get jumped in the pits, I would be able to have the pace to run them back down again.
Well, mate, it was a good race. It was definitely. We thought Denchy was going to get you through the pit stop. We were saying that on the broadcast. Go back and watch that and have a look. We thought he was going to get on the pit stop, and we were surprised he didn't because of how fast the pace was at the front. Obviously, you had your teammates in there as well, and you were working together, and they were letting you know on obviously your different fuel drops and everything like that. But I'll hand over to Ticey and Daniel, mate. You got anything for Jordan? Because that was an absolutely sensational race around number 1 of the GT4s here at Indianapolis.
Yeah, it was great racing, and it's no surprise that the 1-9 guys are at the pointy end of the field. I guess question, Jordan, with your teammate Sam behind you, was it always a case of you keeping your eye in the mirror for what Sam was going to do, or was it you just concentrating on you being up front?
No, it was more we were concentrating on our own races. We didn't really communicate too much. We're wary of like other people around us, like saying, "Hey, there's like the lap cars here. We're going to catch a group here, so we're going to pit like this time round." But apart from that, yeah, it was pretty much focusing on our own races.
Awesome. And you think the GT4 suits this type of track?
Yeah, it's fantastic fun. I've been loving this combo all week, so it's definitely a track and car combo that I'm loving at the moment. It's got enough aero on it to be like fun and sliding around, but it's also hasn't got enough where you're not really affected by dirty air and anything, so you can have some nice close racing as well.
Awesome. Well, congrats on the win, Jordan. I'm sure it's not going to be the only time we see you at the pointy end of the field. Look, I'm sure you're a bit surprised that you won as well as you did, but congrats regardless, and we look forward to what you can bring next week.
Awesome, thank you very much.
Well, Geordie, I'll jump in quickly. You can't run away that quickly, mate. GSRC, obviously, 1-9 had a stellar night tonight. 3 cars, I believe, inside the top 6, with Jake Jackson coming 6. So, great job by the guys. What's the plans 1-9-wise in GSRC moving forward? Obviously, now you're going to be contesting the GT4s. I know you've been doing a lot in this space. 1-9's plans moving forward, and how's the team looking into the back end of 2023 going into 2024?
Yeah, so I'm not sure what the team are thinking, but I've been loving the GT4, so I'll certainly stick around as long as GT4 stay on the schedule. Team-wise, I think yeah, I'm committing to GT3 Monday night as well. I might dabble in Porsche Cup, and then I think some other leagues around for some other members, but no, we'll certainly be floating around in amongst GSRC for this season.
Yeah, most definitely, mate. It's good to see you back at the front. Good to see you winning. Denchi was there, obviously. You put him back there in third. I'm used to seeing him first, so I know we keep mentioning Denchi, but mate, great drive into P1. We'll give you the chance before we go, and don't go anywhere, Jordan, because we'll speak to you before we have the broadcast finish as well. But well, we got you now, mate. Big shout out to all the sponsors, everyone that makes it possible on your win tonight.
Yeah, of course. Shout out to MX Wraps, the team sponsor. Everyone over at 1-9. Everyone that was in chat, and obviously you guys for being on the broadcast. It wouldn't be what it is without you guys.
You're more than welcome, mate. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Your round number 1 winner of the GT4 GSRC Orbic GT4s here, Indianapolis Road. It is none other than Jordan Malcolm. But we go across, and we'll be back to you soon, Jordan, to P number 2. Sam Muir, mate, 1-9, 1 and 2. Mate, you had Denchi all over the back here. You would have had one eye in the mirror, and obviously trying to chase down your teammate tonight. How'd that race play out for you?
Yeah, cheers, guys. Yeah, it's always a pretty tough race when you got Matty Dench either in front of you or behind you. It's not too often that I do have him in my mirrors. I'm usually behind him on lap 1, and then try and not let him race too far off into the distance thereafter. So it was a nice change of pace. I don't know how long it'll last. I'm sure that once he gets up to speed in the Merc and the GT4, that he'll be a weapon and hard to catch. But yeah, good to get one up earlier in the season.
Well, mate, P2, obviously 1 and 2 for the team, as I just mentioned. You've got to be happy with that. And obviously, Jake Jackson in 6 as well. Great job by the team, and you've got to be happy with the team effort. Like, I've raced you guys a lot and seen you guys around the traps a lot. So you've got to be happy with that. This team's been moving forward in leaps and bounds and getting a lot of pace. So you've got to be happy with that.
Yeah, we're a pretty happy team at 1-9. I joined the guys, I don't even remember now, would have been at the start of the year, and yeah, just an awesome group of guys to get in Discord with and get through these races. They've certainly helped me improve a lot as well. I think when I joined the team, I would have been around sort of 3 or 4k I rating, and managed to gain a bit by racing with guys like Jordan Malcolm, and he wasn't in there tonight, but Matty Stewart. He's got plenty of pace in the Supercar and the Porsche Cup. Braden Sagassa and obviously Jakey Jackson as well. And I'll stop there because if I keep going, then I'll have to name absolutely everyone that dons the purple car. But yeah, awesome group of guys. Couldn't be happier.
Yeah, it's great to see you guys doing well and great to see you going on too. So good job from all involved. But Ticey, jump in, mate. Great race, as I said. Sammy Muir in second. Jump across and ask Sam some questions.
Yes, Sam. In relation to team dynamic, do you guys is there coach each other? Like when races like this, when you know a season calendar and that sort of thing, is there practice? You guys practice beforehand? How does that sort of play out for the 1-9 group?
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of prep going on. It's just the guys will just hop in and do their thing and pick out a combo. I know that Jordan hasn't been doing too many officials up until last week, but he's always around and doing plenty of pracky, and the other guys are doing ovals or might be hopping into GT3, GT4, Porsche Cup. So we bounce around quite a lot, and it just makes it so much easier when you are participating in leagues like this, and you can hop in Discord with the guys and talk about race strategy, setups, try different things. Yeah, it's a massive help, that's for sure.
And we saw tonight on the broadcast, not your 1-9 guys, of course, but there was an incident with teammates further back down the field. If there is an incident with teammates in the 1-9 camp, how's that sorted? Is that a game of rock paper scissors, or you get a cage fight, or how does that get sorted out?
Probably good to get Jordan back in on this one, because I think that he was the victim of some 1-9 on 1-9 violence last season. So yeah, we're not immune to it. There's plenty of purple out on the track across all the different leagues, so it's sort of inevitable that we're going to come together at different stages. But no, the guys are really good. We don't take it too seriously. So yeah, we just sort of laugh it off, and just if someone does make a bit of a mess up, just make sure that we return the favour some point down the track.
And was there ever a thought in your mind that I kind of want to see if I can lead this thing? Did you have any thoughts of that, or were you just happy to sit behind Jordan there for the race?
Yeah, I'll be lying, I guess, if I said that I didn't want to get back up in front of Jordan, but his pace was just far too good tonight. Not too sure how the stats all ended up, but checked them out after the officials were run here last week, and it was Jay Malcolm at the top of the timesheets for anyone who had done officials. So yeah, he obviously loves this place, and absolutely no shame in finishing second to him. So yeah, a 1-2 tonight, can't ask for much more. Hopefully there's more to come.
Well, Sam, I'll jump in quickly again. Obviously second place tonight, which is great showing, 1-2 for 1-9. We go across to Phillip Island next week. How are you feeling at Phillip Island? Do you feel comfortable around there? Totally different type of racetrack to what we saw tonight at Indianapolis. So a little bit more, I'd say, European style, although it be in Australia. How are you feeling going into Phillip Island and then going to back up into Road Atlanta, but Phillip Island first? So how are you feeling going into that one?
Yeah, really looking forward to it. Absolutely love Phillip Island. Haven't done too many laps in the GT4 around there though, but yeah, I'm sure it'll be a really good combo. Helps that the officials are obviously there this week, so we're getting a little bit of pracky between now and then. Hopefully it's a track that the Porsche will fare well at, but we'll wait and see. And then onto Road Atlanta, total opposite. I can't stand the place. So hopefully we can cash in next week at Phillip Island. Well, hopefully you do, and no doubt Denchi will be chasing you down, and everyone else will be as well. Nighty, Jared Knight had a good night tonight. Sam Chapman, Holderson, all those guys had a good night as well. But mate, big congratulations on your P2 for a 1-9 rather, 1 and 2. Of course, your big shout out to sponsors, everyone that makes it possible to do. yeah, just a big shout out to MX Wraps, our major sponsor, and to the whole team at 19. I should probably mention the team boss because I didn't mention him before. But Chris, thanks for having us and for putting it all together. And yeah, cheers to everyone for putting on the show in GSRC. Massive thanks actually to the league coordinators for changing up the format. I've been sort of asking for this to move to a main time slot, and I know it was a bit risky to sort of break away from tradition and the success that they've had with the Monday night GT4 into GT3, but yeah, hopefully we managed to put on a good show tonight, and it's going to be a good format for the rest of the season.
Well, glad you enjoyed it, mate, and good to see you up there in P2. But from everyone in GSRC, congratulations, and there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Second place here for round number 1 of the GT4 Orbic Racing GSRC series. It is none other than Sam Muir from 19MX5 Graphics. Sam, hang around if you can. We are going to have a chat for a little bit before we finish this broadcast up. Unfortunately, Matthew Dench is not in at the moment to have a chat. He's not one to really chat after the race, but we've got to actually bring in Trent Labors. Trent, mate, up into the 4th position in the 3rd race, up 1 position, started 5th. What a night for you, mate. Nice solid night, nice 4th position. You've got to be happy with that.
Yeah, not too bad actually, considering that the Aston was a bit of a potato around this place and the officials. Couldn't even get within a second of Jordo's time there in the Aston, but no, it wasn't too bad. I found a setup I had from a couple of years ago when I raced the GT4 series from Watkins Glen. I threw that in the car and it seemed to be okay, and just battled through the rest of it for the race. So actually had a really good fun little battle there with Denchi and Nighty. We were all a bit pretty tight there in the pack after potentially made a little mistake and dropped off the toe. But no, it was a good fun little race. It got a little bit lonely there towards the end, but hopefully over the next couple of races over the season we'll start bunching up again.
Yeah, we're going to see that, I'd suggest. Obviously, Denchi in the GT4 in a AMG as opposed to his being a weapon in the Porsche and stuff like that. We're going to see people acclimatise to their cars, get better, get quicker. We're going to see different things, but all in all, it was a bloody good race to watch, and it was good strategy-wise. So good to see you up there in P4. I'll ask the same question that I asked you to Sam. Going to Phillip Island next week, Australian track, we've all done plenty of laps around there. How are you feeling going into that one?
I'm actually got a bit of a knack around Phillip Island. I seem to do really well there no matter what I do. Drama is, I'm going to be down, get my redneck on down in Bathurst next week, so I won't be here.
Oh, so we're not going to see you. Actually, I don't blame you on that one. So, well, we're not going to see you. Yeah, right. Okay, so that's going to suck for you for the championship. But I'll further that question then. While you're off going rednecking, having a couple of fancy waters down at Bathurst, you go across to the next round at was it Red Bull Ring? I said, or
Road Atlanta.
Road Atlanta. How's that track suit you?
Yeah, no, I like Road Atlanta, and I've actually got a pretty quick set for the Aston around there, so hopefully it still works, depending on all the VOP things that have changed since the year or two since I've jumped in the GT4s proper, so we'll see what happens.
Well, it looks like you are probably going to have to do all right to catch a little bit back after going down to Bathurst, so hopefully we see you back up in the top 5 like we did tonight. But across to you, Ticey, anything you want to ask?
Well, it's more a statement, if I can be truthful, Mr. Lavis. You were one of my picks to finish up at the pointy end of the field, one of the ones to watch, and you didn't have anything disastrous happen, so thank you for making me look half decent.
Are you trying to throw me under the bus with the commentator's curse, mate? That's a bit rough, jeez. A bit early in the season for that.
After all you've done for the club, mate, and for the up-and-comer series. People know, but you personally sponsor the up-and-comer series. That's obviously a bit of a side passion for you, apart from your racing. But you have sort of taken a bit of time away from the rig, Trent, with other commitments. Is it good to be back? And is the full series of GT4 something that you've got your eye on?
Yeah, now that it's at a decent time slot with the whole daylight savings kicking in this weekend up in Queensland here, it makes it a little bit tough if it's on a bit early. My work hours are super all over the shop, being an international business, so I tend to have to stay back. I might even have to miss a couple more later in the season, but my goal is do my darndest to block out my work calendar so people can't book meetings at stupid times, and I can jump on the sim and have some fun.
Awesome. And with how your race went tonight, was there anything that you think you could have done, or certainly could have improved on, or were you just really overall happy with how it all panned out?
Considering where, like with the baseline sets in the officials when I jumped into the car, and how much the car was a piece of junk, basically, I'm actually pretty stoked that I'd be anywhere near these guys at the front here. So, actually super stoked to be anywhere near. I think I'm the only Aston in the top 10. I think Adam, my brother, with the same setup, was the next closest in P11 there. So, and he's not slow. So, hopefully the Aston comes to its own later in the season as the tracks get better and better.
And is there like family bragging rights come Christmas dinner? Like, do you get the first slice of Christmas ham because you finished further up the field than your brother?
No, nothing like that, mate. We always try and help each other along the best we can, and with strategy and fuel, with the Aussie Racer boys and the Bailey Ladders cars, they're always cheering each other on and always helping each other out. So it's always a good bunch of blokes to yarn with and have some quality banter at the same time.
Good stuff. Well, it was great to see you put in a really solid effort, and I know that you've helped out. Certainly on a personal level, people like myself with your coaching, and and you're one of the class blokes in the club who is open to give anyone a hand. So it's really good to see that sort of generosity reward itself with a great night out for yourself tonight.
No, cheers, mate. I'm hoping to get some opportunities to jump back in with the up-and-comer guys to do a bit more coaching throughout the year, depending on obviously work and other commitments. So fingers crossed, being that I've got my name on the series at the moment, and trying to get some more exposure for the up-and-comers, the people that are just jumping into it and getting accustomed to it. It'd be keen to jump in there and give them a few pointers to help them get up to speed quicker. I'd love to.
Well,
If you give still the
Ticey, I can jump in here. Sorry, I can say, mate, it was a good thing for you to a good. What am I trying to say? A good series for you to support, because I tell you what, some of the racing on Tuesday night was amazing, and I think Ticey will second that as well. And the camaraderie is really, really good within the series. So what we're doing through that space is obviously working.
Yeah, I think we at one point we had we'll go 4 or 5 wide down before the second last quarter at Red Bull Ring. So and everyone made it through. But I will say, Trent, Schulte's probably going to need some coaching on how to pit. So
hey, considering I absolutely sputtered my pin entry tonight, I don't think I'm the right bloke for that job. So I'll pass that on to someone else.
I'm too busy trying to keep the thing on the track. Let's not talk about pitting. So anyway. But, mate, what a great night tonight for you, Trent. Good job in P4, mate. Of course, we'll give you the time. Obviously, part of the GSRC and a big supporter, and always has been and continually will be. Shout out to those sponsors, anyone that makes it possible and to allow you to go racing, mate.
No, appreciate it, Moses, and look forward to the next one. Take care.
No worries. Well, there we go, Trent. But we'll jump across quickly. Before we wrap up the broadcast, we need to have a chat to one more person, and that's none other than Paul Woodsy Wood, Mr. Chief Steward here. Mate, up 21 positions, if you don't mind.
Yeah, it was the old Merc come back to me. The old Bailey Ladders Merc served me well. It was decision was made literally as I was coming into the server. The cars all popped up, and I thought, what am I going to race this season? Decided to go with the Merc and jumped in at first and thought maybe I made the wrong decision because I just could not get a handle on it. But started to come to me, and then just after quali, I went back through my setups and thought, I found one I think that'll work, and put it on, and yeah, lo and behold, the car was beautiful. It was a pleasure to race, and yeah, looking forward to the season. Hopefully the car keeps serving me well, so fingers crossed.
Well, talk us through race one, because up 21 positions, finished 13th, so that puts us to 34th starting in the first one. What happened finishing 34th in the first one. What happened to the first one? Talk us through your night, how it all went down. Obviously did a great job in the second race. Talk us through your night.
You still talking the GT3s race? Sorry, the GT4?
Oh, sorry.
Was
Sorry,
only one.
I'm
Was
getting
40 minute Schultze?
Yeah, you're thinking the radicals.
Confused. Yeah, sorry. I've done a lot of broadcasting tonight, or commentating.
That's all right.
But 21 positions up from 13th, man. That's a good drive.
Yeah, well, like I said, with qualifying, I was basically when I got over to the server, I hadn't driven this car for a while, so I actually had to set up all my controls, and so I ran out of time in practice. I managed to get in quality, start trying to drive, and make sure I had everything dialed in, and then thought I'll wait and had a quick look at a setup and started driving, and that was just feeling like absolute rubbish. But I went around, set the best time I could with that, and it took a couple of minutes to practice pit entry, and then thought I'll have a look at setups and reassessed and come back and thought, well, this was one of the last setups I had on the car, so I threw it on there, which was, I can't even remember what track it was from, I think it was Rugskogan or something like that, and the car just felt beautiful and just settled in and started to get some pace and started to get used to the track, and positions just started coming to me. So all in all, it was a good race. I think it would have been better, would have been nicer to have been on the pace a little bit earlier, but I'm happy with the result, and it was a good race. Thoroughly enjoyed, especially the longer time frame. It was good to see the GT4s rising.
Well, you had Bailey ladders on the side of the car. You definitely did climb the ladder. But I'll ask the same question. Going to Phillip Island, mate. We've all done a lot of laps around there. We're Australians, most of us in here. How you feeling going into Phillip Island? Is it a track you're pretty comfortable with? Do you think it's something you can back up with the same positions depending on your qualifying position? Or what are you thinking going into Phillip Island? There's going to be a couple of drivers obviously missing that we've just heard going to Bathurst, so could be an opportunity to get some.
Yeah, well, with some of the guys that are up the front, I need to take every opportunity I can get. I think after tonight with the setup, I think I'm at least starting with a pretty solid base. I'm not always the quickest around the island, but I'll give it a go and see. Like I said, hopefully I can a little bit better in qualifying. So whether I can gain the most positions again, we'll see how we go. But yeah, I'll definitely give it a crack and just see how I go. Hopefully get a little bit more practice in than I had for this round, and you never know what can happen.
Well, Ticey, over to you, mate. Of course. Have a chat and have a chat to Woodsy, and I'll leave it over to you until we wrap up the broadcast, mate.
Yeah, look, Woodsy, just want to go back to the radicals for a second. You are Chief Steward. I did get a 10-second penalty. Is there any amount of iRacing credits that can knock that 10-second penalty off?
Oh, no, I'd have to look at the footage before I could accept that, but I'm not easily bribed, but we'll have to, if any problems with it, you'll have to put it in. I can always take a look, but no bribes, unfortunately.
No, that's all right. I understand. That's the. It's only between you and me. I'm sure no one else is listening. No, it was actually my stupidity on not holding brakes. But look, you got to be happy with being there. I think. Let me have a look real quick here. Yeah, you were the one that gained the most positions when you started the race. Did you have any thought that you might end up mid-pack at some point?
No, I didn't. Coming into the race, like I said, it was I wasn't confident, and I thought tonight I'll just race it, just try to keep the car straight, take what I can get. So far, a better start than I had the last season. But like I said, once I started racing with that different setup, the car, especially the tyres come up to temp, it just started feeling good, and the time just started coming to me. So I just kept cracking away at it, and people either fell off the track, or I was able to gain some positions, and just kept pushing forward. And yeah, whether I could have made it much further, I don't know. The pace up front is extraordinary, but like I said, we'll keep chipping away at it and see what we can get as the season goes.
And for what is on the calendar, is there one race in particular that sticks out where you think, that's a can't be missed race?
To tell you the truth, I haven't actually had a chance to have a look at the schedule. I've only just got back. I've been away for the last few weeks, so I'm trying to catch up on everything. That's why everything's all last minute sorting it all out. The same as I got all chief steward duties to catch up on because I've been away. But I couldn't tell you because I'm not actually sure what tracks are in there. But yeah, I enjoy all of them. Oh, there they are there. I always enjoy a bit of Donington Park. It's well, Mount Panorama's always good, and Imola's always a fun track. But yeah, all of those should be made for some good racing. So yeah, I'll give them all a crack. Probably the one, the least one, probably Circuit Sandford is probably going to be my least favourite. But again, we'll see what we can come up with.
And you did mention that you were sort of undecided in relation to what car you were going to jump in. Were you? Obviously, you were pleasantly surprised with the Merc, but did it kind of exceed your expectations? And then I guess backing onto that what was the other make alternative that you were thinking of driving?
I was actually between the Porsche, the Aston, and this. And no, I think it did well. It actually, I remember feeling it actually feels better than the last time I drove it. But I was coming just for something different. The Aston was good. I started to get the setup working for me at the end of last season, but it was just the gearing I didn't like with it. So I thought I'd come back to this one. It just feels a little more comfortable. But once I started racing, I see got the setup there. Now I remember where I finished up with this last time I raced the Merc. It's a very comfortable car to drive, very stable. So hopefully I can get some good results and just keep chipping away at the setup and get a comfortable ride.
Awesome. And then obviously you're part of the Bailey Ladders crew. There's a cast of thousands in that team. But no matter where you look on a track, you see a Bailey Ladders car somewhere. So great team to be a part of, I'm sure. You guys sort of do much practice either beforehand in officials or that sort of thing, or is it really just turn up and have a steer?
It really depends. A lot of the guys we're busy. We do sometimes try to get in and do practice, especially for GT4. This is sort of our mainstay group that we're all in there. So we will try to get together and do practice. But for me, most weeks, it's usually rock up and try to do our best I can on the night. But I take the opportunity if the opportunity arises, which hopefully, and I probably should with this field, need to start doing more practice. But yeah, as a team, we do try to work together with it, but it's not always possible.
Awesome. Well, that's it's good to know you don't take bribes. I probably should learn to bribe properly as well. But look, Woodsy, it's been great. Thanks for taking on the job of Chief Steward. It's not an easy job, I imagine, but certainly one that's very needed for the club. And yeah, we do appreciate the time that you put into it.
Well, good. I just hope I can do the club proud, and I'll do the best I can to keep it as fair as possible.
Well, you're definitely doing that, Woodsy, and you come home in 13th position tonight. So, great job. But boys, that's going to bring to the end of the broadcast tonight on what was a double header. We started off with the Radicals at Snetterton for a double header with a reverse grid of the top 10. We've finished it off tonight here in the GT4s at the Indianapolis Road. It was Jordan Malcolm, Sam Muir and Matthew Dench rounding out your three. Trent Labers and Jared Knight rounded out your five. But from everyone here at the Gentleman Sim Racing Club and Orbic, of course, you can jump on and get any of our merch at Gentleman Sim Racing Club GSRC. You can see that down the bottom, merch.tgsrci.com. If you want any merch, jump on and get that, and you can get that delivered to you ASAP. Do that. And from everyone here at the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, we thank you all for jumping in and watching what was a stellar night of racing. Of course, as I said, Malcolm, Muir and Dent, your top three here for GT4. We did start off with the Radicals. I would say what we've got coming up on the broadcast. We've got plenty coming up on the broadcast as well. Zach will be back in the commentary booth shortly. He will be back from his holiday. iRacing's on maintenance, so I can't really see what we've got coming up broadcast-wise and can't go through the Discord. But Ticey, Daniel, thank you so much tonight. Thank you to everyone. It's been a great night. Thank you for allowing me to commentate, and it's been great. But as I said, Malcolm, Muir and Dench, your top 3 here for the GT4s. From everyone here at the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club and all the supporters and everyone watching, we thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you next time on the broadcast here on the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club.